The very first thing you did after ascending as the Supreme Demon Emperor was to shed every last trace of your former terrifying title and identity. You quietly married Su Ruyan, the revered Grand Empress of the Immortal Domain, choosing a hidden life of peace and ordinary warmth over the endless rivers of blood and conquest that had defined your existence for countless eras. That very same night, as you lay beside your new wife under the soft starlit sky of the Grand Immortal Palace, a cold, mechanical voice suddenly echoed deep within your soul. Divorce system has been activated. Core rule: should your spouse ever initiate a divorce, they will claim exactly half of the host's total cultivation base. In exchange, the host shall receive it back 10,000-fold, becoming truly unrivaled beneath the heavens. You let out a soft, almost self-mocking chuckle in the quiet darkness of the chamber, the sound barely disturbing the silk curtains around the grand bed. What a ridiculously overpowered system this was. Yet even as those words resonated inside you, a profound weariness settled over your ancient heart like a heavy cloak. You had grown utterly tired of the oceans of blood you had spilled across countless battlefields, the constant struggle for dominance, the weight of ruling the demon domain as its supreme sovereign, and the endless cycle of betrayal and death that came with absolute power. None of it had ever brought any lasting fulfillment or peace. All you truly wanted now was something simple and warm: to watch flowers bloom gently in a quiet garden at dawn, to raise a family with love and laughter filling the halls, and to experience the gentle rhythm of ordinary days without the constant shadow of war, slaughter, and political intrigue hanging over everything like a dark cloud. 1,000 years passed like a fleeting yet profoundly deep dream, filled with quiet joys and small, precious moments you had never allowed yourself before. During those long, peaceful centuries, you and Su Ruyan slowly built a beautiful life together. You had 2 daughters and 1 son. Su Shixuan, the eldest, cool-headed, resolute, fiercely loyal, and quick to protect those she loved with a quiet ferocity that reminded you of your own younger self. Su Junken, the only son, highly talented but easily swayed by promises of power, status, and resources, his ambition sometimes shining brighter than his wisdom. And little Su Miao Miao, the youngest, an adorable, food-loving bundle of pure-hearted innocence whose bright smile could melt even the coldest heart in an instant, her laughter ringing through the palace like the clearest bell. Life felt truly full and complete for the first time in your long, lonely existence. The bright laughter of your children echoed warmly through the grand palace halls every single day. You taught them the basics of cultivation in secret during quiet evenings under lantern light, played with them happily in the blooming flower gardens where butterflies danced among exotic immortal blooms, told them carefully edited stories of distant realms, leaving out the bloodier, darker parts of your own past, and watched them grow with a depth of tenderness and patience you had never shown on any battlefield before. You cooked simple meals with them on lazy afternoons, helped them with their first clumsy sword forms, and sat with them under the stars at night, answering their endless curious questions about the world. But on the very day Su Ruyan officially ascended the throne as the new ruler of the entire immortal domain, everything you had carefully built shattered in a single devastating moment that would echo in your memory for centuries. Before the assembled elders, high nobles, thousands of disciples, and the entire grand court gathered in the majestic hall of eternal light, Su Ruyan stood tall in her majestic imperial robes embroidered with golden phoenixes and declared in a clear, emotionless voice that carried to every corner of the vast hall. "I wish to dissolve my marriage with my husband." The entire hall fell into stunned, deathly silence. Even the flickering immortal lanterns seemed to dim for a moment. You stood motionless near the center of the hall, your expression calm on the surface like still water, yet your heart twisted with sharp, unexpected pain that cut deeper than any blade you had ever faced in battle. "Give me one reason," you said quietly, your voice still carrying effortlessly across the entire grand chamber without any effort. Su Ruyan lowered her gaze slowly, unable to meet your eyes even for a single second, her fingers tightening almost imperceptibly on the edges of her imperial sleeves. "I'm sorry, this is entirely my fault. I have successfully awakened the Immaculate Emperor's seat. To step onto the true path of ultimate strength and reach the absolute pinnacle, I must sever every desire and attachment, including all romantic bonds." A heavy, suffocating silence blanketed the entire hall. The air itself felt thicker, as if the weight of her words had pressed down on everyone present. You found the situation bitterly laughable and tragic at the same time. Between her soaring ambition for unmatched power, the man who had stood faithfully by her side for a full 1,000 years through countless trials, and the 3 precious children you had raised together with love and care, she had chosen cultivation without the slightest hesitation or visible regret. At that exact moment, her master Lin Qingxue stepped forward urgently from the side, her voice sharp and pressing with barely concealed impatience. Ruyan, we cannot afford to waste even one more moment. Your emperor's aura is nearly complete. If anything disrupts it now, you may never reach the very peak of the immortal path. Before her words had even fully faded into the air, Lin Qingxue suddenly felt a bone-chilling killing intent lock onto her like the cold gaze of a death god from the abyss. The pressure was so terrifying and absolute that her entire body froze instinctively, cold sweat breaking out along her spine. She whipped her head toward the source with wide, alarmed eyes. It was you, a man who had never publicly revealed any cultivation beyond the late Saint King realm in all these long years of living quietly in the immortal domain. Su Ruyan spoke hurriedly, her voice trembling with a faint hint of plea that only you could truly detect beneath the surface of her composed words. I'm begging you, for the sake of everything we have shared together these past 1,000 years, please let me go. You fixed your steady, piercing gaze on her face for several long seconds, searching desperately for any sign of reluctance, regret, external pressure, or even a single crack in her resolve. Then, with a powerful surge of your hidden emperor sense, you forcefully broke straight into her soul sea, an act that should have been utterly impossible for someone of your apparent realm. Tell me the truth right now. Is someone forcing you into this decision? This was your final, desperate grasp at any remaining hope that this wasn't truly her choice. Su Ruyan's eyes widened in utter shock, her soul sea trembling under the unexpected intrusion. She had already broken through to the early Grand Emperor realm. Only someone many times more powerful could invade her soul sea so effortlessly and without any resistance. She stared at you with pure disbelief for several long seconds, the hall around her fading into the background, but the very next instant, her eyes hardened once again with cold, unyielding determination. No. I'm sorry. Your expression turned ice cold, all remaining warmth draining away like water disappearing into desert sand on a scorching day. Then I wish you every success on the path you have chosen for yourself. You slowly raised your arm. The heavenly mark that had bound the two of you together as cultivation partners for a full millennium shattered into countless glittering fragments that dissolved silently into the air around you, sparkling like dying stars. The system chimed triumphantly inside your mind, its voice cold and mechanical. Congratulations, host. Divorce successful. Su Ruyan's share of the combined cultivation is nearly negligible. Half of the host's cultivation will now be transferred away. In the blink of an eye, you felt a massive, crushing portion of your power vanish from your dantian and meridians, leaving a hollow emptiness that echoed through your soul. Meanwhile, Su Ruyan's aura exploded upward in a spectacular burst of radiant light that lit up the entire Grand Hall. Her cultivation, which had barely stepped into the Grand Emperor realm, leaped straight to the 3rd substage in a single breath, causing the entire hall to tremble under the sudden, overwhelming surge of imperial pressure. The air itself seemed to hum with her new power. Lin Qingxue stood completely slack-jawed for several seconds, her eyes shining with naked greed and fanatical excitement that she made no attempt to hide. A divine technique. This is an absolute divine technique. Ha ha ha. The Immaculate Emperor's seat truly demands the complete severing of all desire and attachment. This divorce was absolutely the correct decision. System notification: Millionfold cultivation returned successful. However, 1,000,000 times half the host's original cultivation is far too overwhelming to release at once. It has been safely stored within the host's soul sea. The host may withdraw any amount needed at any time. Friendly reminder: the current world simply cannot withstand the full release of your power. Should you unleash everything at once, the world itself would collapse into nothingness. Please exercise extreme restraint and avoid accidentally erasing all living souls from existence. You stared at the glowing blue system prompt floating in your vision with completely empty eyes. There was no joy. No excitement. No sense of triumph. Only a deep, hollow ache that spread through your chest like spreading frost. Because right now, your three precious children stood before the entire court, some sobbing quietly, others standing in heavy, heartbroken silence that tore at your heart more than any wound ever had. Daddy. I don't want you to leave, little Su Meow Meow cried out, her tiny hands clutching desperately at your sleeve, fresh tears streaming down her chubby cheeks and soaking into the fabric. You gently stroked her forehead with infinite tenderness, your voice soft and filled with every last drop of love you still possessed in this broken moment, trying to keep it steady for her sake. Don't cry, sweetheart. Daddy will always love you. No matter what happens in the future, that promise will never change. I swear it on my life and soul. In that single moment, every remaining trace of tenderness left in your ancient heart belonged only to your three children, a fragile flame you refused to let the cold winds of this day extinguish. Meanwhile, Su Ruyan knew deep down that the Immaculate Emperor's seat only required severing romantic ties. She still hoped, and perhaps even planned, to keep at least some of the children by her side for both appearances and future leverage in her rise to power. Children, she said in a calm, almost gentle tone that now felt painfully distant and hollow, I asked each of you before today. Have you made your final decision? Will you stay with mother, or go with father? Su Shixuan had long since clenched her fists so tightly that her knuckles had turned white. Her young face remained unmoved, cold as frozen jade, though her eyes burned with quiet resolve. Lin Qingxue smiled with open triumph and produced two magnificent weapons, a gleaming peerless saber that hummed with sharp intent and a radiant divine sword that shimmered with contained power. One for Jun Kan, one for Shixuan. These two supreme weapons were prepared well in advance by your mother. Come to this side, and they are yours. With your natural talent and your mother's vast resources and connections, you will absolutely reach the Emperor realm one day and stand proudly at the peak. Just then, Su Jun Kan, who had been standing with his head hung low the entire time, finally stirred. He dropped heavily to his knees with a loud thud that echoed through the silent hall like a judgment. Father, forgive me. I want to stay with mother. You placed your palm gently on your son's head, a deep wave of resignation and quiet sorrow settling into your chest like heavy lead. From now on, father can no longer look after you every single day. Listen to your mother well, and train hard. Become strong enough to protect yourself and those you care about. He rose slowly and walked toward Su Ruyan's side. The moment he reached her, Lin Qingxue quickly pressed the peerless saber into his trembling hands. Su Jun Kan's eyes lit up with undisguised greed and excitement, as though he had just received the greatest treasure the world could possibly offer, his earlier hesitation already fading. Lin Qingxue then turned to Su Shixuan with a look of open triumph on her face. Shixuan, come quickly. This sword is yours. Su Shixuan's fists remained clenched tight. She walked steadily forward, but when she arrived directly before her mother, she fixed Su Ruyan with a long, hard, unblinking stare that carried years of quiet disappointment. Then she shot a sharp, disappointed glare at her spineless little brother, turned around without saying another word, and walked straight to your side with firm, determined steps that echoed her resolve. Father, your daughter will always stand by you. No matter what happens. You looked at your eldest daughter, and for the first time since the painful announcement, a trace of genuine warmth slowly flooded back into your frozen heart, easing the ache just a little. Shixuan, are you truly certain about this choice you are making? Facing her mother's quiet but pointed question, Su Shixuan chose complete silence as her only answer, her jaw set. Shixuan, you're still so young. You don't fully understand what's truly at stake here. Following your father, you will never have any real hope of reaching the Emperor realm in this lifetime. Even without relying on any of you, Su Shixuan replied in a calm, steady voice that carried surprising strength, I can reach the Emperor realm through my own effort and hard work. Sis, just listen to mother for once, Su Jun Kan tried to persuade her desperately, his voice cracking slightly. Shut your mouth, Su Shixuan cut him off coldly, her eyes flashing with disappointment and finality. Say one more word, and I no longer have a brother. She knew the truth more clearly than anyone else present. While their mother had always been buried deep in closed-door cultivation, chasing higher realms without pause, their father's love had been boundless, patient, gentle, protective, and unwavering through every single day of their lives, from teaching them their first steps in cultivation to comforting them after nightmares. Her harsh words made Soo-jun lower his head in shame, but deep down he still believed his sister was letting foolish emotions cloud her better judgment. Without their mother's immense resources and powerful connections, how could either of them possibly have become the most gifted prodigies of their entire generation? The onlookers in the grand hall began whispering furiously among themselves, their voices rising like a growing tide that filled the vast space. Look at that! Soo-ryun just shot straight to the late stage of the Grand Emperor realm in a single leap. With that kind of monstrous talent and power, she is destined to become one of the absolute peaks of the entire immortal domain within a few short decades. Not following Soo-ryun will undoubtedly be the biggest mistake that man ever makes in his entire life. He has thrown away his future with his own two hands. Seeing that her eldest daughter's decision was final and unchangeable, Soo-ryun slowly turned her gaze toward her youngest child with a complicated expression that mixed regret, lingering determination, hidden pain, and calculated resolve. And you, meow meow? Soo meow meow immediately gripped your hand even tighter, fresh tears streaming down her chubby little face as she shook her head fiercely. Mother is a big meanie. I'm never talking to you again. Never ever. Soo-ryun's expression twisted into a complicated tangle of regret, lingering determination, hidden pain, and calculated resolve that only those who knew her well could partially decipher. Meow meow, come to mother's side. From now on, we'll hire the finest masters in the entire immortal domain, renowned for both their cultivation guidance and their exquisite cooking skills. They will make you delicious cakes, pastries, and all kinds of wonderful food every single day. You meanie, don't talk to me anymore. Daddy, let's go. I don't want to be here anymore. I hate this place now. Watching your precious little girl's heartbroken face, you spoke softly, your voice filled with gentle sorrow that you tried to keep from cracking. Meow meow, sleep for a little while. Daddy just needs to say a few final words, then we'll leave this place behind forever. Before you had even finished the sentence, Soo meow meow had already fallen into a peaceful, exhausted sleep in your strong arms, worn out from all the crying and emotional turmoil of the day, her small body relaxing against you. After carefully handing her over to Su Shixuan to watch over with a protective arm, you walked up to Soo-ryun with cold, detached calm that masked the storm inside. Grand Emperor Realm, quite the impressive power you have gained today. I sincerely hope that one day your strength will surpass even our two daughters. You spoke nothing crueler than that single sentence. After all, you had once loved this woman with every fiber of your ancient being, pouring 1,000 years of quiet devotion, patience, and unspoken sacrifices into the marriage. But then your gaze shifted sharply to Lin Qingxue. In a blur too fast for most eyes to follow, you grabbed her by the throat and lifted her completely off the ground, her feet dangling helplessly. You used every trick and scheme you had to try and sway my children away from me today. If not for the fact that you are her master and my children are present in this hall right now, you would already be dead. You threw her aside like a piece of worthless garbage, sending her crashing several meters away into a pillar with a dull thud. Then you looked at your son one final time, your voice softening just a fraction. Father won't be around anymore to guide you every day. Take care of yourself, Jun can train hard and become someone who can stand on his own. Finally, you approached your sister-in-law and longtime trusted friend, Yi Hong, who stood at the edge of the hall with tears glistening in her eyes. When I leave this time, I likely won't return to the immortal domain for many, many years. So, farewell, old friend. Yi Hong looked at you with eyes full of guilt, sorrow, and deep regret. The two peerless weapons Lin Qingxue had just given away had actually been personally forged by her own hands as a secret gift for the children. Qingyin. I don't want to stay here either. Let's go together. I'll follow you wherever you decide to go. No, Yi Hong. I am heading back to the demon domain, the true place I come from. We'll stay in contact through voice transmission jade slips. If you ever wish to see me or the girls, come to the demon domain. I'll send someone trustworthy to escort you safely across the border. Alright, until we meet again, Chingin. Take care of yourself and the children. Tell them Auntie Ihong loves them. With those final, heavy words hanging in the air like mist, you rose slowly into the sky. For the first time in a full 1,000 years, you allowed your true cultivation aura to flow freely without any disguise or suppression. A terrifying pressure that belonged to the absolute peak of the Grand Emperor realm, and in truth far, far beyond it, swept across the entire immortal domain like an unstoppable storm, causing palaces to tremble and clouds to part. Carrying your 2 daughters protectively in your arms, you vanished into the distant heavens, leaving behind a hall full of stunned silence and whispered shock that would be talked about for centuries. Everyone present was struck completely speechless, their minds reeling. That man, he's actually from the demon domain? And his cultivation is at the peak of the Grand Emperor realm. No, it feels even stronger than that. He has been living among us in the immortal domain all these years, hiding right under our noses, and no one ever noticed a single clue. Su Ruian's eyes widened in utter disbelief and dawning horror. She had been kept completely in the dark for the entire 1,000 years of their marriage, never once suspecting the true depth of the man she had just divorced. Ruian, that man is truly from the demon domain. You were absolutely right to divorce him when you did. He must have felt deeply threatened the moment he saw you break through to the late stage of the Grand Emperor realm. Once you reach the peak yourself, crushing him will become effortless. Su Ruian nodded slowly, forcing her confidence to return as she clenched her fists. With her current talent, momentum, and the backing of the Immaculate Emperor's seat, she wasn't far behind even the greatest demon emperor of the past billion years. Or so she told herself repeatedly to quiet the small, nagging doubt in her heart. Half an hour later, after crossing vast distances in the blink of an eye using your unmatched speed, you brought your 2 daughters to the vast, mist-shrouded border between the immortal domain and the demon domain, a place where the spiritual energy of the 2 realms clashed and mixed in chaotic, dangerous swirls of light and shadow, creating beautiful yet deadly phenomena that had claimed countless lives over the ages. Xishuan, meow meow, the demon domain lies just ahead. Are you scared at all? Su Xishuan shook her head firmly, her young face set with quiet determination that made you proud. With Daddy here, we're not afraid of anywhere in the world. Same. Meow meow isn't scared either, the little girl declared bravely, though her small hand still clutched yours tightly, seeking reassurance in the unfamiliar landscape. You smiled with genuine, heartfelt warmth and gently ruffled both daughters' hair with your large, calloused hands that had once ended empires. And you're right not to be afraid. Because your daddy has long since become unrivaled beneath the heavens. Dad, are you really sure you're actually unrivaled? Su Xishuan asked with a teasing little smile, trying to lighten the heavy mood that still lingered from the morning's events. Didn't you teach us many times that there's always someone stronger somewhere, and we should never let arrogance blind us? You 2 absolutely cannot be arrogant, you replied in a serious tone, then your lips curved into a rare, mischievous grin that surprised even you. But your daddy. I happen to be the one exception to that rule. Because I am the someone stronger that everyone else in this world is secretly afraid of. Su Xishuan burst out laughing, quickly covering her mouth with her sleeve to hide it, her eyes sparkling for the first time that day. Daddy, you're so shameless sometimes. Haha, Daddy does have a point though. Just barely, little Su Meow Meow added cheerfully, trying to copy her big sister's laugh even as she yawned from exhaustion. Watching your 2 precious daughters laugh with pure, innocent joy despite everything that had happened that day, every last shadow, pain, and heaviness in your ancient heart lifted away completely, as if blown away by a fresh wind from the demon domain itself. Alright, let's go. Daddy is taking both of you to explore the demon domain together, your new home from now on. Is there lots and lots of good food in the demon domain? Su Meow Meow asked immediately, her eyes sparkling with sudden interest, the earlier sadness already fading a little as her natural curiosity took over. Quite a lot, actually. I happen to know an old demon friend whose cooking is truly extraordinary, better than anything you've tasted before, with flavors that can make your tongue dance. But before we head there to eat, I need to take you both somewhere very important first. A place that holds many of Daddy's old secrets and treasures from my past life here. A short while later, after flying through twisting mountain ranges filled with ancient demonic beasts that roared in the distance and swirling mists that carried the scent of sulfur and wild herbs, you led your daughters deep into a hidden, lava-filled vault concealed within a remote, forbidden mountain range of the demon domain. The air was thick with heat and the scent of sulfur, yet strangely comforting and familiar to you, like returning to an old friend. Daddy, what exactly is this mysterious place? Su Shixuan asked, her eyes wide with a mixture of curiosity and awe as she looked around at the glowing lava pools, ancient runes carved into the obsidian walls, and the faint hum of protective arrays that had stood for millennia. This is my old personal treasure vault from the days when I ruled the demon domain as its supreme sovereign. It holds many things I left behind when I chose to live quietly in the immortal domain. Now, since your brother Jun can receive a peerless saber today, Daddy is going to give both of you your own suitable weapons as well, ones that truly belong to our bloodline and will grow with you. You called out loudly into the vast, echoing chamber, your voice booming like thunder that shook the lava slightly. Xiao Haizi, where have you run off to this time? I specifically told you to stay here and guard this place without fail for all these years. After waiting several moments with no response except the bubbling of lava, you recited a complex, ancient incantation in the demonic tongue that made the air vibrate. In the very next instant, a majestic long sword and a full suit of dark, onyx-colored armor burst forth dramatically from the bubbling lava pools, radiating terrifying power, history, and a faint sense of loyalty. This was the legendary Blood Deer battle armor set you had once used to sweep across the entire demon domain unchallenged, leaving legends and fear in your wake wherever you went. Time for both of you to see the light of day once again, old friends. You've waited long enough. The sword flashed instantly into your hand with a resonant, approving hum that vibrated through the air and made the lava ripple. Shixuan, this peerless sword is officially known as the Juyu Immortal Sword in the outside world, but I have always preferred its original, true name, Sajin Cho. Today, Daddy gives this sword to you as your personal weapon. Treat it well. You turned solemnly to the sword itself and commanded in a firm voice, Sajin Cho, this is my precious eldest daughter. From this day forth, serve her loyally and well. Grow stronger together with her. Understood? The divine sword shuddered once in clear acknowledgement, its blade glowing brighter for a moment as if accepting the new bond. You gestured for Su Shixuan to take it, but she shook her head hesitantly, eyes filled with hesitation, awe, and a touch of self-doubt. This sword is far too precious and powerful, father. I can't possibly accept it. And with my current cultivation level, I'm simply not worthy of wielding such a divine weapon yet. She was genuinely stunned, the sword's aura alone felt easily 1,000 times mightier and purer than the peerless saber her brother had received earlier, its edge humming with suppressed might. No, Shixuan. You need not worry about worthiness at all. Simply by being my daughter and carrying my bloodline, there is nothing in this entire world that you are unworthy of. The only things you cannot have are the ones you yourself do not want. Su Shixuan burst out laughing again despite the heavy day, the sound bright and genuine, easing some of the tension in her shoulders. Daddy, what you just said sounded pretty cool and majestic, but somehow it's also kind of hilarious at the same time. Why does that happen with you? Then you'd better start getting used to it quickly, my girl. In the demon domain, your daddy may need to adjust his public image a little bit. Things here are far harsher and more direct than the immortal domain. Unlike there, with all its complicated rules, courtesies, and political games, here the strongest fist is the only law that truly matters in the end. Power speaks louder than words. So, Daddy still has quite a few more things prepared to give both of you today to help you grow strong here. You placed the Sajin Cho sword directly and carefully into your eldest daughter's hands, watching as it hummed happily in recognition of its new mistress, the blade seeming to brighten slightly in her grip. Then you turned warmly to your youngest. Meow meow, Daddy has something very special and good prepared just for you too. It will protect you always. The heavy onyx armor rapidly shrank in size and floated gently towards Su Meow Meow's side, hovering expectantly like a loyal guardian. Is this armor for Meow Meow? But, it looks so ugly right now though, the little girl said honestly, tilting her head with a small frown. The proud blood deer battle armor visibly trembled at the word ugly, almost looking offended, its surface rippling slightly. You stifled a warm laugh, patting the armor reassuringly with one hand. Blood deer battle armor, did you hear what my daughter just said? She doesn't like the way you look right now. Change yourself immediately into something cute and lovable that a child would adore. Make her happy. In the very next instant, the terrifying jet black armor transformed with a swirl of dark light into an adorable pink suit of armor decorated with cute patterns, fluffy accents, small cartoonish deer motifs, and even tiny sparkling stars that made it look friendly, fun, and perfectly suited for a little girl. Su Meow Meow's eyes immediately lit up with pure delight and excitement, her earlier tears forgotten for a moment. You gave the transformed armor a big, approving thumbs up. Meow Meow, do you like it now? Like it? I love it so much, Daddy. It's so pretty and soft-looking. Good girl. Then give this special gift a brand new name of your very own. You'll be able to talk to it and command it too. You can change its color anytime, make it invisible, big or small, whatever you like. It will listen only to you. Whoa, it can really do all of that? Let me think hard for the perfect name. She chewed thoughtfully on her little finger for a few moments, her face scrunching up cutely in concentration, then her eyes suddenly brightened like stars. Got it. I'll call it Donut. The moment the cheerful name landed, the once mighty blood deer battle armor began to cry with comical grievance, emitting pitiful whimpering sounds that echoed softly in the chamber like a spoiled child. Seeing the ridiculous scene, you quickly patted the armor reassuringly again. Did you hear that clearly? Your new name is Donut from now on. Accept it happily and serve my daughter well. In the very next instant, the armor stopped crying and burst into happy, tinkling laughter, spinning joyfully around little Su Meow Meow in celebration, its pink surface shimmering. Meow Meow, see? It absolutely loves the name you gave it. You two are going to be great friends. I guess it really does. Su Meow Meow giggled happily, reaching out to hug the pink armor tightly, her small arms wrapping around it as if it were a stuffed toy. Su Shixuan watched the entire playful father-daughter interaction in complete, stunned silence, utterly speechless at this light-hearted, almost silly side of her usually serious and powerful father that she had rarely seen before. It made her heart feel a little warmer despite the pain of the day. Then you reached even deeper into the bubbling lava pools and retrieved several powerful, high-level demon cultivation manuals that were perfectly suited to each daughter's unique constitution and current foundation, explaining their key points briefly as you handed them over. Even as you prepared to leave the secret vault behind, you couldn't help wondering once again where Xiao Haizi, your longtime contract beast and guardian, had disappeared to. You had ordered him strictly to guard this vault and, if needed, help watch over your daughters in the future. His absence was strange and slightly concerning, a small worry that lingered in the back of your mind. After leaving the hidden vault, you brought your daughters straight to the bustling, lively city of Moling City deep within the demon domain. The streets were filled with demonic cultivators of all shapes and sizes, exotic stalls selling rare ingredients that smelled of spice and power, and the constant hum of commerce, training, and life. On the crowded main street of Moling City, filled with the scent of street food, the clash of training weapons in nearby arenas, and the energy of a realm that valued strength above all, Su Shixuan's eyes widened in genuine amazement. Father, the cities in the demon domain are nothing at all like what I had imagined from the stories back home. I thought it would be nothing but constant chaos, brutal fighting, and killing happening on every corner. Actually, the cities here aren't that wildly different from those in the immortal domain once you look past the surface, you explained patiently with a small smile, your hand resting lightly on her shoulder. The cultivation systems and energies are simply different, that's all. Life goes on, trading, training, eating, laughing, making friends, just with a sharper edge and fewer pretty rules to hide behind. You'll get used to it. But just then, Su Shixuan suddenly pointed upward toward the sky with urgency, her voice rising. Father, look! There are people fighting violently up there right now. High above the city streets, several rough-looking men with wicked, leering grins were surrounding and harassing a lone woman dressed in striking red robes, their voices carrying down on the wind. "Brother, we absolutely have to get our hands on this little beauty tonight. It's going to be a very good time for all of us. The fun is only secondary. What really matters is whatever valuable treasures or secrets she's carrying on her. Though I must admit, she does look quite tempting and beautiful." It was painfully clear that their intentions went far beyond simple robbery, greed, lust, and opportunism mixed together. "What do you think? Do you want to step in and help her?" you asked your eldest daughter knowingly, your tone neutral but supportive. You understood her strong sense of justice and protective nature very well by now. "I probably shouldn't get involved in random street fights," Su Shixuan hesitated, biting her lip as she weighed the risks. "You don't need to overthink it at all. Daddy is right here to back you up completely if anything goes wrong. Besides, this is actually a very good, safe chance for you to get used to real combat in the rougher environment of the demon domain. You'll learn more in one real fight than in 100 practice sessions. But my cultivation is still rooted in immortal domain spirit energy techniques. The moment I make a move, won't it immediately attract a huge swarm of angry demon domain cultivators who will attack me on sight for being an outsider?" Your expression remained perfectly calm and confident, your presence like an unbreakable mountain behind her. "However many come rushing in, that many will simply fall. Handle the situation however you feel is right. Don't worry about a single thing, Daddy has everything under control. Trust me." Hearing your unwavering support and absolute confidence, Su Shixuan didn't hesitate any longer, her eyes hardening with resolve. "Father, then I'm going right now. This is also a perfect chance to properly test my new sword." Her silhouette flashed like lightning, and she appeared instantly beside the woman in red, her voice clear and steady. "Fellow cultivator, I'm here to help you." With a single clean, decisive swing of the Sa Jin Cho sword, a brilliant flash of sword light cut through the air like a falling star. One of the attackers dropped dead instantly, his body split cleanly in two, the scent of blood mixing with the city air. The remaining 4 men immediately tensed up in shock and alarm, especially after catching sight of the peerless, glowing sword in Su Shixuan's steady hands. "That looks like a genuine peerless divine sword. Damn it, they're clearly working together. Wait a second, this girl isn't using any demonic energy at all. She's using pure spiritual energy from the immortal domain. She's an outsider intruder." The woman in red felt a wave of despair wash over her the moment she heard those accusing words. 1 second she had been relieved beyond words for the unexpected help, and the next she realized there might truly be no such thing as a completely free rescue in the dangerous demon domain. Meanwhile, Su Shixuan herself stared at the divine weapon in her hand, completely stunned by its power. Both weapons were technically at the god transformation realm level, yet with this sword, a single casual strike had been more than enough to kill an opponent outright without any real effort, the blade feeling like an extension of her own will. The attackers quickly began shouting loudly to attract more help, their voices echoing across the sky. "Everyone nearby. Someone from the immortal domain has brazenly entered our territory and killed one of our own. She also possesses a peerless divine sword. Let us all join forces right now and cut her down together. The sword will go to whoever has the destiny and strength to claim it in the end." Before the words had even fully finished echoing, a large wave of opportunistic demon domain cultivators surged forward from all directions, eager for the prize and the glory. Su Shixuan calmly sent you a private voice transmission while preparing her stance. "Father, none of these rushing attackers have surpassed the god transformation realm yet. I can handle this fight on my own without too much trouble." "Go ahead then. Hold absolutely nothing back and fight seriously. Show them what my daughter can do." You had zero real worry for your daughter's safety. Everything remained firmly within your invisible control and protection, your emperor sense ready to intervene if needed. And so, Su Shixuan launched herself fearlessly into fierce, flowing battle against the growing swarm of enemies, her new sword dancing like a silver dragon in her hands, each strike precise and powerful. The woman in red watched her unexpected young ally being surrounded and attacked from all sides. Right now was the perfect, safest chance for her to slip away unnoticed and escape into the crowd. After a brief but intense internal hesitation, however, she clenched her jaw with determination and charged bravely back into the fray to fight side by side with Su Shixuan, her own techniques complementing the younger girl's swordplay. Yu glanced at the red-dressed woman approvingly from below, noting her choice. Not bad at all. At least she has some basic principles and didn't just abandon the person who helped her. Loyalty like that is rare. Wait a moment, something about this young woman feels strangely familiar. Why does she carry such a recognizable and comforting aura around her? It's almost like I've met her before. But just then, a much more sinister and powerful voice rang out suddenly from the empty void above the battlefield, cutting through the chaos. Someone from the immortal domain and a peerless divine sword on top of it? To think that by making this simple trip today, this old man would stumble upon such a rare and valuable windfall. Little girl, hand over that sword to this old man right now. Real trouble had arrived. A Saint King level powerhouse had just shown himself, his aura pressing down like a mountain. With someone this strong joining the fight, that sword is now completely out of our reach. However, the moment the old man's greedy eyes met your calm, piercing gaze from below, his entire face drained of all color in an instant, recognition and terror flashing across his features. Grand Emperor, this junior had eyes but failed miserably to see Mount Tai. Please continue whatever you were doing, senior. This junior will take his leave immediately and never bother you again. Hold on just a second, you said calmly, your voice carrying easily. I actually preferred that arrogant and confident attitude you had just a moment ago. It was more entertaining. Before the words had even fully landed, the old man, terrified beyond reason, had already shattered both of his own arms with his own power in a desperate show of submission, blood dripping from the broken limbs. I was wrong. Please, I beg you with everything I have, spare this worthless dog's life. Fine. You do seem to finally understand what's good for your own survival. Leave. Thank you, senior, for generously sparing my worthless life. With those trembling words, the old man vanished instantly into the void without a trace, fleeing as fast as he possibly could, his broken arms trailing blood. Yu then called out calmly and loudly to all the remaining cultivators still hovering nervously in the sealed sky. Carry on with your fight. Don't just stand there staring uselessly at me. Or do you need more encouragement? Su Shixuan thought to herself in silent awe as she continued fighting, so this is exactly what it feels like to have a truly invincible father protecting you. It makes me feel safe in a way I never did before. But every single demon domain cultivator present was no fool. They recognized the overwhelming danger and turned to flee in complete panic, scattering like leaves in a storm. You simply raised your arm with an almost casual light gesture. A massive, impenetrable barrier instantly locked down the entire stretch of sky, sealing the whole area completely shut like an iron cage that even Saint Kings couldn't break. We're trapped. We can't break through this barrier no matter what we try. They slammed against the invisible wall with everything they had, using all their techniques and weapons, but it didn't even tremble or flicker once, the barrier humming with your power. Su Shixuan and the woman in red moved forward once more with renewed confidence, their teamwork improving with every exchange. Exactly 2.5 minutes later, every last attacker who had launched themselves at Su Shixuan had become nothing more than fallen souls beneath the combined blades of the two girls, the sky above the city now quiet except for the wind. Su Shixuan hurried back to your side, breathing only slightly heavily but with shining, excited eyes full of accomplishment. Father, this sword is an absolutely perfect fit for me. It feels like it was made for my hand and responds to my every thought. You nodded with deep satisfaction, already making mental notes that you needed to find a suitable, high-level demon domain cultivation technique for her very soon, one that could smoothly and completely convert her existing immortal foundation without any backlash or loss, perhaps even enhancing it. But just then, a cold, sinister, and far more powerful voice drifted out slowly from the empty void once more, carrying a hint of greed. I sensed it clearly from very far away, the unmistakable aura of a genuine peerless sword. I thought I must have sensed wrong at first, but no, it's real. Looks like this trip wasn't wasted after all. And it turns out to involve someone connected to the old Xingshi sect. The image of a long-buried old enemy immediately surfaced in your mind. Back then, during your reign, you had personally wiped out every single Emperor realm powerhouse within the Xingshi sect in a single night of blood and fire. Yet barely 1,000 years later, a new Grand Emperor realm cultivator had already emerged from its remnants like a stubborn weed. Well, their timing today was actually quite convenient for me. Saves me the trouble of hunting them down later. Is that so? If I recall correctly, someone else used almost those exact same arrogant words just a few moments ago. I'm still not entirely sure why he suddenly shattered both of his own arms in terror and fled with his tail tucked between his legs like a beaten dog. Don't tempt death with your words, outsider. It seems the former greatness and terror of the Xingshi sect is largely unknown to most fools in the demon domain these days. They have clearly forgotten just how overwhelmingly powerful we once were. In that case, I'll use you today as a living example to remind the entire world that the Xingshi sect at its absolute peak has finally returned stronger than ever. Well, that's just wonderful news. Not only do you want to steal my daughter's sword for yourself, but you've also stolen my favorite dramatic line word for word. That's almost impressive. Before the last word had even fully left your lips, the still smirking Xingshi sect powerhouse was already seized brutally by the throat in your iron-like grip, lifted helplessly into the air like a rag doll. When he realized that no matter how desperately he struggled or circulated his full power, he could not break free even slightly, his face twisted in pure horror and disbelief, veins bulging on his forehead. Impossible, this can't be happening, who are you? Funny. Your old patriarch said the exact same words, word for word, right before he died by my hand years ago. Your Xingshi sect really does have a remarkable way of staying perfectly in sync across generations. It's almost touching. As you finished speaking calmly, a terrifying black radiance suddenly erupted violently from the man's entire body, devouring him from the inside. In the blink of an eye, he was reduced to nothing but drifting black ash that scattered uselessly on the wind, leaving only a faint scream that faded quickly. The woman in red stood there completely frozen, staring blankly at the casual display of overwhelming power, her mouth slightly open in shock. What, was that black radiance just now? It just instantly killed a mid-stage Grand Emperor realm powerhouse without any visible effort, like he was nothing. You had already returned calmly to your youngest daughter's side, gently checking on her with a soft smile. Meow meow, were you scared at all by what just happened? Scared? No way. I actually thought Daddy looked really, really cool just now when he did that. Like a hero from the stories. Looking fondly at your precious little girl, you thought quietly to yourself that she truly carried something special and unique deep inside, something truly worthy of carrying your powerful bloodline, a spark of fearlessness mixed with innocence. But just then, ominous, dark thunderclouds suddenly billowed and gathered rapidly across the sky above the entire city, crackling with lightning. A thunderous, ancient voice that shook the very heavens boomed out, echoing like rolling drums. What insolent creature dares to cause such open havoc and destruction inside my city? A terrifying, oppressive wave of pressure crashed down from above like an invisible mountain, making the weaker cultivators below tremble. It's the city lord himself appearing in person. That person who caused all this trouble is now in serious, serious danger. How so? Who is he exactly? The city lord of Moling City is widely recognized as one of the absolute top powerhouses in the entire demon domain, a genuine peak Grand Emperor realm expert with centuries of ruthless experience and a temper like a volcano. But at that precise moment, the corners of your lips curved upward into a slight, knowing smile, your eyes twinkling with familiarity. This old thing still loves putting on dramatic shows and acting important after all these years. Some things never change. A majestic, imposing figure slowly materialized in the roiling thunderclouds above, his robes billowing dramatically, lightning dancing around him for effect. What insignificant ant dares cause trouble here? State your name immediately so I can crush you properly and make an example. It's your grandfather. Why aren't you getting down here right now to pay your proper respects like a good junior? Or have you forgotten your manners after so many years? How dare you speak to me like, wait, am I seeing things? Is that really? In a single instant, all the overwhelming pressure, roaring thunder, and dark clouds vanished completely as if they had never existed, the sky clearing to a calm blue. The next moment, the majestic figure had already appeared directly beside you with a wide, genuine grin spreading across his weathered face, his earlier imposing aura gone. Haha. It really is you after all. Where on earth have you been hiding yourself all these long years? I've been searching for any trace of you like a madman across the entire demon domain, sending scouts to every corner. Meow meow, look carefully. This is the exact person I told you so many stories about, the old demon whose cooking skills are truly extraordinary and unmatched, the one who can make even the toughest demonic beast taste like heaven. Su Meow Meow's eyes instantly lit up with sparkling excitement and anticipation at the sight of the old demon chef, her stomach rumbling again at the mention of food. While the old demon himself, Xiaoxingyi, looked thoroughly baffled and surprised for a moment, his eyes widening comically. Wait, hold on just a second. These two adorable little girls are actually your daughters? Well, I'll be damned. I've been wondering endlessly why I couldn't find even the slightest trace of you anywhere in the demon domain no matter how hard I searched. Turns out you secretly snuck off to the immortal domain all those years ago just to chase after women and start a family. You sly old fox. You stepped forward without hesitation and delivered a sharp, familiar kick straight to his side, not hard enough to injure, but firm enough to remind him of old times and make him stumble playfully. You decrepit old fool. If you can't say anything proper or respectful, then you'd better keep that big mouth of yours tightly shut from now on. The girls are listening. But Xiaoxingyi wasn't the least bit offended by the rough treatment. If anything, the familiar rough affection made him feel warmly nostalgic for the old days of conquest and camaraderie. I'm back this time for good and I'm not leaving again anytime soon. First things first, help me find a suitable, quiet place to settle down. I'd like to stay with you and the girls for a good long while if you'll have me. It's been too quiet without you around. Perfect. 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 You absolutely cannot go back on that promise now. Ever since you disappeared from the demon domain without a proper goodbye, I haven't had a single decent, interesting person to talk to or drink with. And now not only are you finally back, but you've also brought along two such lovely, adorable, and talented daughters. This old city is finally going to become lively and fun again after so many quiet years. The taverns will be happy. Just then, you suddenly remembered the woman in red who was still standing quietly nearby, watching everything with wide, nervous eyes and a mix of awe and caution. Come down here for a moment, young one. The red-dressed woman had no time to think or react. In the very next second, she appeared directly before you, her body trembling slightly with a mixture of awe, fear, and curiosity. What is your full name, young one? Senior, this junior's full name is Sun Mingzi. Hearing the familiar surname Sun, you were now completely able to confirm her hidden identity and background from old records you had once seen. Do you currently have anywhere safe to go or anyone waiting for you? My eldest daughter is visiting the demon domain for the very first time. She doesn't know her way around many things here yet. You two seem close in age. I need you to help show her around the city, keep her company, and guide her as a friend. Consider it a request from me. Sun Mingzi looked toward Su Shixuan as if fate itself had just thrown her a precious olive branch in her moment of need. She nodded eagerly and gratefully, her voice soft but sincere. Yes, senior. I would be honored to help and keep her company. From now on, you'll come and stay with us as part of the group. Welcome. A short while later, the entire group arrived at a tranquil, elegantly designed courtyard located at the very heart of Moling City. Xiaoxingyi spread his arms proudly with a smug grin, gesturing grandly at the buildings and garden. What do you think of this place? I've been living here all alone for many years now, tending the garden and cooking for one. Now that you and the girls are finally back, the entire courtyard is yours to use as you wish. Make it your home. You looked around at the familiar layout, the stone paths, the small pond with colorful fish, the pavilion where you had once shared wine with him, and frowned slightly in mild amusement. Are you absolutely sure this is supposed to be your own courtyard? It looks suspiciously like my old one from before I left. Huh? What can I possibly say? I got so used to visiting and staying at your old place back in the day that I just ended up copying the entire design exactly, down to the last stone and flower. It felt more like home that way. You could only laugh helplessly at the old demon's honest admission, the sound light and genuine for the first time that day. Just then, little Su Meow Meow patted her loudly rumbling stomach with both hands and looked up at you with big, pleading eyes, her voice cute and tired. Daddy. I'm feeling a little bit hungry after everything that happened today. Can we eat something good? You glanced over at Xiaoxingyi with a knowing smile, raising an eyebrow. Time to show us all what you can really do in the kitchen, old friend. Don't hold back, the girls have had a hard day. Haha. Finally, a real chance to show off my skills after so long. Meow meow, Grandpa Xiao is going right now to gather the freshest ingredients and start cooking something truly special that will make you forget all your worries. With those excited words, Xiaoxingyi's figure vanished instantly from the spot in a blur of movement, reappearing moments later in the distance with his arms full of rare demonic ingredients. But the very next second, he reappeared dramatically in the sky directly above the courtyard, hoisting an enormous demonic beast, easily as large as the entire courtyard itself, high above his head with one hand, roaring proudly as if presenting a trophy. Tonight we feast like kings. After a long, sumptuous, and incredibly delicious dinner that left everyone satisfied and content, the table filled with fragrant dishes that combined spicy demonic herbs, tender meat, and subtle spiritual energy that nourished the body, you and Xiaoxingyi sat together peacefully in the quiet moonlit pavilion, sharing fine wine and reminiscing about old times while the children had all gone off to rest in their new rooms, exhausted but happy. The two of you drank in comfortable, companionable silence for a long while, the wine warming your veins, before Xiaoxingyi finally broke the quiet with a serious but gentle tone, his voice low so as not to wake the girls. Qingyan, we've known each other for tens of thousands of years through thick and thin, battles, victories, losses, and everything in between. When something heavy is weighing on your heart, I can see it clearly with just one glance. Speaking of which, why didn't the mother of those two beautiful daughters come back with you to the demon domain? I expected to see her too. You glanced at your old friend and remained silent for several moments, staring into your cup of wine as memories of the day replayed in your mind. Xiaoxingyi raised his cup in a small toast, giving you space. All right, you clearly don't want to talk about it right now. Consider the question unasked and forgotten. Let's just keep drinking like old times. Tonight we drink until neither of us can stand straight anymore, and tomorrow we face whatever comes. You drew a slow, deep breath and finally decided to open up completely, the words coming easier with the wine and the familiar company. Their mother and I have officially parted ways. She asked for a divorce in front of the entire court on the day she ascended the throne. Xiaoxingyi froze completely mid-sip, his eyes widening in genuine shock, the cup pausing halfway to his lips. How on earth did any woman manage to successfully divorce you of all people? What? I genuinely can't make any sense of it no matter how I think about it. You, the eternal night demon emperor, divorced by a woman from the immortal domain? So you recounted the entire painful event in calm, detailed words, the wine loosening your tongue, everything that had happened not long ago in the immortal domain hall, laying out every single detail, every emotion you had felt, every word spoken, and the choices the children had made, without holding anything back. Once you had finished the full story, you suddenly felt much lighter inside, as if a heavy stone had been lifted from your chest, the night air feeling fresher. Xiaoxingyi, however, remained completely quiet for a long, thoughtful moment, staring into the distance at the moon, processing everything. How can a woman this foolish and short-sighted possibly exist in this vast world? She doesn't even realize what kind of extraordinary man she has just casually let go of forever. 1,000 years of loyalty, and she throws it away for severing attachments? Ridiculous. Emboldened by the strong wine and the late hour, he leaned in closer with a mischievous but sincere grin, his voice dropping. Chingin, if that woman eventually comes to her senses one day and realizes how badly she was wrong, would you ever consider forgiving her? After all, no matter how you look at it, she is still the biological mother of your 3 children. The girls might need her one day, even if they don't say it. You looked at him steadily and seriously for several seconds, the wine cup turning slowly in your fingers. You know me better than almost anyone else alive. That kind of question really shouldn't even be coming from your mouth. Some things, once broken, cannot be mended the same way. All right. I understand completely. I support whatever decision you make unconditionally, no matter what path you choose. Your happiness and the children's come first. Then Xiaoxingyi leaned in even closer with a playful, mischievous grin and lowered his voice to a conspiratorial whisper, glancing toward the rooms where the girls slept. There are still a few women who come looking for any trace of you here in the demon domain almost every single year, bringing gifts or messages. Especially that one named Huan Yin. She has been quietly searching the entire demon domain for you for a full 1,000 years without giving up, even when everyone told her you were gone for good. I even heard rumors that she once went all the way to the immortal domain looking for you, but she accidentally exposed herself as a powerful demon domain cultivator and ended up getting surrounded and attacked by several Grand Emperor realm experts there. She barely managed to escape with her life and spent a very long time recovering from serious injuries and seclusion. That girl genuinely carries deep, unwavering feelings for you in her heart, stronger than most would admit. The beautiful face of a woman with breathtaking, ethereal beauty immediately surfaced clearly in your mind, Huan Yin, her smile, her determination, the way she had once stood by you in battle. She actually risked everything and went to the immortal domain just to look for me? That was reckless. She really did. But as you know better than anyone, crossing that dangerous boundary marker greatly diminishes even the strongest cultivator's power. The fact that she survived and made it back at all was nothing short of pure luck and stubborn willpower. A woman like that, beautiful, talented, loyal, and willing to risk her life, and you still can't find it in your heart to look her way even once? You're too stubborn for your own good sometimes. You raised one eyebrow slightly in amusement, the wine making the conversation feel lighter. Are you seriously trying to play matchmaker for me again after all these years, old man? You never give up. All right. Just pretend I never said anything at all. I'm just an old cook who talks too much when he drinks. You quickly changed the subject to something more practical, setting your cup down. Right. My current main cultivation technique doesn't quite suit my daughter's unique physiques and foundations perfectly. I'd like them to try practicing yours first to see how it feels and whether it resonates. Easy decision. Your daughters are basically my own daughters at this point. If my technique doesn't fit them perfectly, I'll personally search every single corner and hidden realm of the entire demon domain until I find the absolute best techniques that suit each of them flawlessly. We'll make them stronger than anyone expects. Meanwhile, late that same night inside Su Shixuan's newly assigned room, little Su Miao Miao tossed and turned restlessly on her soft bed, unable to fall asleep easily despite the exhaustion of the day. Sis. I clearly feel a lot of resentment toward Mother right now for what she did, but I still miss her just a little bit sometimes. Her voice, the way she used to check on us after training. Su Shixuan gently stroked her little sister's soft hair with comforting affection, her own eyes thoughtful in the dim light of the moon coming through the window. Don't miss her too much or too often right now. As long as we have Father with us, that is more than enough for now. He's never let us down. Sis, will we really never get to see Mother again for the rest of our entire lifetime? Not even once? We will see her again one day. But only when the right time comes, when we are strong enough to stand on our own. When exactly will that be? I want to know. When both of us have successfully cultivated all the way to the Grand Emperor realm, we'll go see her together. We'll show her what we've become without her help. Really? You promise we'll do that? By then, I'll defeat her myself in a fair fight and clearly show her that the choice she made that day was completely wrong. She'll understand what she lost. Alright then. Meow Meow is going to start training very seriously from tomorrow too. We'll work hard together and go defeat her side by side one day. I want to make her see she was wrong. The two sisters talked softly for a while longer, their voices fading into quiet determination as they fell asleep, the bond between them stronger than ever. The next clear morning, after a simple but nourishing breakfast prepared by Xiaoxingyi with fresh demonic ingredients that filled the courtyard with delicious aromas, you brought both daughters into the dedicated training room within the courtyard, the morning light streaming through the windows. Old Xiao, it's time. Go ahead and transmit the technique to them carefully. Su Shixuan sat down gracefully in a cross-legged position before Xiaoxingyi as a small, crackling cluster of violet lightning slowly condensed at the tip of his fingertip, humming with raw, contained power that made the air slightly charged. Shixuan, in just a moment I will transmit this complete technique directly into your soul sea. That way, you'll know almost instantly whether it resonates perfectly with your personal constitution or not. Relax and open your mind. But just then, Su Shixuan spoke up politely but firmly, her brow furrowing slightly. Grandpa Xiao, could you please move that little lightning ball a bit further away from me? It's making me feel strangely uncomfortable just looking at it, like static in my meridians. Xiaoxingyi immediately glanced over at you for guidance. You simply nodded once in an even, calm tone. A small matter like this, surely you can handle it without any issue. Adjust it gently. Xiaoxingyi nodded quickly and adjusted the position of the lightning carefully, moving it farther away until Su Shixuan relaxed. A short while later, Su Shixuan smoothly entered a deep state of profound comprehension, her breathing steady and focused, her face peaceful as the technique integrated. But at that very same moment, little Su Meow Meow, who had rarely shown any real interest in serious training before, suddenly declared with surprising determination, her small fists clenched. Daddy, Meow Meow wants to try training seriously too. I want to be strong like sis. You stared at your youngest daughter in total, genuine disbelief for several seconds, a mix of surprise and pride warming your chest. Old Xiao, let Meow Meow give the technique a try as well. Let's see what happens. Be gentle with her. After successfully passing on the technique to both girls, Xiaoxingyi gave you a strange, thoughtful look, stroking his beard. Qingyan, how long exactly has your youngest daughter been like this? So sudden and determined? Since she was very little, actually. She has these bursts of focus when she decides something matters. So she's basically turning out the same way as Shui Tianfei did back then? That same stubborn spark? Not quite as extreme yet. But this kind of unusual mental or personality quirk, there's really nothing I can do to change it easily. It's part of who she is. Hey, wasn't the whole main reason you turned down Shui Tianfei all those years ago because of that exact same personality trait? And now it looks like your own daughter is developing in a very similar direction. The universe has a sense of humor. Alright, just drop the subject for now. Let's focus on their progress. Oh, I almost forgot to ask you something important yesterday. Have you happened to run into that troublesome little black gremlin over the years since you left? Actually, yes, I have crossed paths with him indirectly. Because he somehow managed to steal my most powerful weapon, the legendary Thunder Flame Sword, while I was away. The little thief. At that unexpected revelation, your face turned slightly red with a mix of embarrassment and lingering annoyance, memories of the contract beast's antics flashing through your mind. And then what happened after that? Did you get it back? There really isn't any and then. Look, I'm telling you seriously right now, you need to help me get my Thunder Flame Sword back as soon as possible. It's too dangerous in the wrong hands. But he is still technically your contracted beast. I don't even know exactly where he is hiding right now. He's slippery. Don't you still have an active contract bond with him after all this time? You can sense him. I deliberately severed half of the contract bond when I first left the demon domain 1,000 years ago to cut ties cleanly. Xiao Xingyi fell completely quiet for a long moment, thinking deeply, his expression turning serious. 2.5 minutes later, Su Shixuan slowly opened her eyes, looking thoughtful but slightly dissatisfied. Dad, this technique feels pretty good overall, but I keep getting the sense that something is just slightly off or missing for me personally. Like it doesn't fully align with my spirit root. You placed your hand gently but firmly on her head and sensed her condition carefully with your emperor sense, probing meridians and foundation. A moment later you nodded, your voice reassuring. This technique is roughly 90% compatible with your current constitution. It's just a little bit short of perfection. It's fine though. Dad will continue searching until we find something even better suited to you. We have time. Right at that moment, Su Miao Miao asked with bright, excited eyes, bouncing slightly on her feet. Dad, does this mean Miao Miao can actually start cultivating properly and seriously now too? I want to be strong like sis and protect everyone. Xiao Xingyi's eyes went wide with genuine astonishment, his mouth opening slightly. Oh my god. In all my many long years of teaching and watching talents, I have never once seen anyone condense pure purple lightning on their very first attempt at learning a new technique. She truly is your daughter through and through, the spark is there. Dad, is what I just did really that impressive and rare? Did I do good? Let's just say it completely blows what I was personally capable of when I first started cultivating out of the water by a huge margin. You have talent, little one. You quickly turn to comfort and encourage your eldest daughter, sensing her quiet disappointment and self-doubt. Shixuan, don't feel discouraged at all. Dad is already working very hard behind the scenes to find a technique that will be a perfect, flawless fit for your unique foundation. We'll keep trying until it clicks. You're already doing wonderfully. Su Shixuan gave a small, grateful nod, her determination clearly renewed, though a small shadow of comparison lingered in her eyes. Then Xiao Xingyi pulled you quietly aside, outside the main training courtyard, speaking in a low, serious voice under the morning sun. Honestly, I really think you should have Shixuan try practicing Shui Tianfei's personal technique next. It might be the missing piece. Here we go again with this same suggestion. You never let it go. This time I'm honestly not saying it because of your complicated personal history with her. I'm suggesting it purely because those two girls, Shixuan and Shui Tianfei, are remarkably similar in temperament, personality, and cultivation style. The technique might turn out to be an almost perfect match for her. It could unlock something special. You mulled the idea over carefully for a long moment, weighing the pros and cons, the garden breeze rustling the leaves around you. Are the two of you still in regular contact after all this time? Does she still ask about me? Can I realistically afford not to stay in contact? Every single day at exactly 5 a.m. sharp I am forced to send her a message asking if there is any new information about you. Otherwise I get absolutely blasted by her furious temper, especially ever since her favorite weapon was stolen. She's relentless. I finally understand everything now. All those years when you kept aggressively pushing me to get together with her, you were actually being subtly coerced and threatened the whole time by her daily messages. That is absolutely not what happened. You're twisting my good intentions into something sinister. Alright, fine. Send her a message right away. Tell her to come by the courtyard as soon as she can. We'll test the technique. Xiao Xingyi let out a huge, exaggerated sigh of relief, his shoulders sagging dramatically. Finally, no more having to do that exact same annoying daily mission every single morning. My ears will thank me. But just a quarter of an hour later, little Su Miao Miao suddenly pointed excitedly out the window with wide eyes, her voice filled with wonder. Dad, that's so weird and amazing. It's snowing lightly outside all of a sudden even though it's not cold season. Look at the pretty snowflakes. Right at that exact moment, a graceful, pure white figure appeared elegantly outside the window, surrounded by gently falling snowflakes that danced around her like living ornaments, her presence bringing a chill but beautiful aura to the warm courtyard. Little Xingyi, you said earlier there was a solid lead on the key person I've been searching for all this time? I came as soon as I got the message. Shui Tianfei stepped gracefully toward the entrance of the courtyard but stopped short just outside, carefully afraid of dirtying her pristine white robes and shoes on the path. At that precise, perfectly timed moment, the warm voice that had lived quietly in her dreams every single night for 1,000 years finally sounded clearly from inside the room, calm and familiar. "You're finally here. Come inside and sit down comfortably. No need to stand outside." In less than a heartbeat, Shui Tianfei had already flashed instantly inside the room, her usual icy demeanor cracking visibly with emotion, her eyes softening. "Where exactly have you been hiding all these long years? Do you have any idea at all what I have been through while waiting for even the smallest scrap of news about you? I searched everywhere." Xiao Xingyi watched the entire scene with quiet amusement from the side, thinking to himself, in this entire vast world, only when she stands in front of Qingyan does the normally cold and proud Shui Tianfei ever act like a helpless, emotional damsel in distress. It's almost endearing. "You're still exactly the same as I remember, beautiful and strong." "No, I'm really not the same anymore. I've changed quite a lot over the years, actually. I've grown stronger, more patient, but some things never change." "Sure you have. Time changes everyone a little." She then began quietly sizing up the two young girls standing politely beside you with sharp, curious eyes, her gaze softening when it landed on their faces. "And these two beautiful little girls are? These are my two daughters. Xishuan and Miao Miao, go ahead and call her Auntie Shui politely. She's an old friend." Shui Tianfei nearly coughed up a mouthful of blood on the spot from the emotional shock, her face paling slightly before flushing. You flinched internally at the intensity of her reaction. Your whole subtle plan with that particular introduction had simply been to make Shui Tianfei finally give up her long-standing feelings for good. You just hadn't expected her emotional response to be quite this dramatically intense, her hands clenching at her sides. The overall vibe and atmosphere inside the room turned noticeably awkward and tense in an instant, the air thicker with unspoken feelings. "Xishuan, take your little sister back to your room to play for a while. Let the adults talk." "Okay, Dad." Su Xishuan took Su Miao Miao gently by the hand and led her out of the room quietly, the little girl waving cutely at Shui Tianfei as they left. Now only the three adults remained in the quiet space, the snow outside still falling lightly. Xiao Xingyi shot a quick, meaningful glance between the two of you, sensing the tension. "Actually, well, I've suddenly remembered I have some important things I need to take care of right now in the kitchen. Stay right here and don't move. This won't take long." You turned calmly to face Shui Tianfei directly, your voice even. "Are you feeling okay after that reaction? You looked like you were about to faint." Shui Tianfei wiped a small trace of blood from the corner of her mouth with delicate fingers, her breathing steadying. "I'm perfectly fine now." "So, you really did get married while you were living over in the immortal domain all that time? You built a family there?" You nodded once, keeping your expression neutral but kind. "Yes. We had 2 children together. Both of them are cute, intelligent, and gorgeous in their own ways. They definitely take after both sides. Xishuan has her mother's determination, Miao Miao has her innocence." Xiao Xingyi immediately saw straight through Shui Tianfei's subtle little pity-party performance, the way her shoulders slumped just a fraction. "How come we haven't seen or heard anything about the children's mother yet? Is she?" "We have already separated completely. The divorce was finalized on the day she ascended the throne. It was her choice." Shui Tianfei's entire face lit up with barely contained, radiant excitement that she tried, and mostly failed, to hide, her eyes sparkling for a moment before she composed herself. "Oh, that's truly too bad for her. I'm sorry to hear that." She barely managed to hold back an actual smile of relief, her fingers twisting in her robes. "So, are you ever planning to go back to the immortal domain to try and fix things or see the children's mother?" "No. What's done is done and cannot be undone. There is no going back now. The children chose to come with me, and that's enough." Shui Tianfei immediately switched into full supportive best friend mode, nodding her head earnestly and sympathetically, though her heart was racing. Exactly right. When something important breaks badly in a relationship, it simply cannot be put back together the same way again. But you still have to keep moving forward bravely with your life. Personally, I don't care at all whether you had a serious relationship or even marriage with another woman before. As long as all of that is truly in the past and completely over, everything between us is still workable and possible. Besides, those two sweet kids no longer have a mother looking after them every day now. Have you started thinking seriously about finding them a good, caring stepmother who can love them properly and help raise them? Shui Tianfei's face turned completely red with embarrassment at her own bold words, her ears burning as she realized how forward she sounded. Xiao Xingyi saw that deep blush and immediately broke into the most shameless, knowing grin possible, hiding it behind his wine cup. You let out a long, tired sigh, rubbing your forehead lightly with two fingers. We'll cross that particular bridge only when we actually reach it. Right now, I'm really not thinking about any new relationships or remarriage at all. The children come first, and I need to focus on their safety and growth here. Alright, I understand completely. But whenever the time eventually comes and you do decide you want a good stepmother for the children, just let me know privately. I happen to know someone who would be almost perfect for both you and the girls, someone patient, strong, and already fond of them. You quickly and deliberately changed the subject again to something safer and more practical, the awkwardness still lingering in the air. Anyway, the real reason I asked old Xiao to contact you is because I need your help with something important. Given our long history and relationship, I'll just say it directly without dancing around it. My eldest daughter desperately needs a suitable, high-quality demon realm cultivation technique. I've been searching for one that is a strong, natural match for her unique constitution and current foundation. I want to test whether your personal technique might be a good fit for her. Would you be willing to share it? Simple as that. I'll pass my complete technique to her right away and we can find out together immediately. If it fits, I'll teach her personally. Internally, Shui Tianfei recognized this as a genuine opening and opportunity. If she could get on the good side of the children first through training and care, you wouldn't have much real say in what might happen naturally between the adults later. She smiled softly, hiding her hope. A little while later, Shui Tianfei made her way to Su Shixuan's private room with a warm, approachable smile, carrying a small scroll. Two pretty little princesses, what interesting things are you two up to in here on this fine morning? I'm trying to learn as much as I can about the demon realm and its customs so I don't feel like an outsider. If there's anything you're confused or curious about, just ask Auntie Shui anytime. She knows this entire place inside and out, the good spots, the dangerous ones, the best food stalls. Thanks a lot, Auntie Shui. That's really kind of you. I appreciate it. Of course, of course. This is exactly what Auntie is here for, to help however I can. We're all family now in a way. Alright then, your dad specifically asked me to pass you a powerful technique that might suit you. Give it a try whenever you feel ready. No pressure. Now is perfect. I want to get stronger fast. Su Shixuan settled comfortably into a cross-legged cultivation position, her posture perfect. Shui Tianfei immediately conjured a single crystal clear, perfectly shaped snowflake at the tip of her elegant fingertip. It floated gently, radiating pure, calming cold energy that filled the room with a fresh, crisp scent like winter mountains. Su Shixuan stared intently at the impossibly precise and immaculate form of the snowflake. A deep, overwhelming wave of calm and clarity washed over her mind and body, her spirit root responding almost immediately. A moment later, she opened her eyes slowly, looking refreshed and focused, a small smile on her lips. Dad, practicing this technique feels absolutely incredible. Not a single thing feels wrong or forced at all. It flows naturally, like it was waiting for me. You placed your hand gently on your eldest daughter's head once again and ran a full, careful check of her meridians and foundation, your emperor sense probing deeply. Perfect. This technique is a flawless, natural match for you in every way. From now on, this is the one you will train with seriously. We'll build on it. But before we fully commit to it, Dad still needs to carefully convert the existing cultivation base you built up back in the immortal domain first. It has to be done smoothly to avoid any backlash or instability. You looked over at the others present in the room, including Shui Tianfei. You all step outside for a little while, please. This part requires focus. Dad, do I really have to leave the room too? Su Miao Miao asked cutely, tilting her head with big eyes. Yes, you do. Don't disturb your big sister during this delicate process. Didn't you say earlier that you wanted some delicious frozen watermelon? Go ask Auntie Shui nicely if she can get some for you. Maybe with extra honey. Yay! Auntie Shui, let's go get watermelon together. With honey. Su Miao Miao grabbed Shui Tianfei's hand right away without any hesitation. Shui Tianfei's entire body gave a visible, surprised jolt. This was the very first time in her long life that anyone had ever held her hand so innocently and trustingly, the small warm palm making her heart skip. Out in the sunny courtyard, Su Miao Miao happily chomped away on a large slice of perfectly frozen watermelon that Shui Tianfei had quickly provided from her spatial ring, the cold treat making her cheeks puff out adorably. Meow meow, here, take this special message jade slip. Anytime you want more of this delicious frozen watermelon or any other treat, just send me a message and I'll bring it right away. No matter where I am. Su Miao Miao wiped her messy mouth with one small hand and grinned widely, juice on her chin. Deal. Frozen watermelon really is the absolute best. Thank you, Auntie Shui. Seeing the little girl's pure happiness, Shui Tianfei decided to gently dig a little deeper into her preferences, sitting down beside her on a stone bench. Meow meow, are you just really into cold and icy things in general? Or is it the sweetness? No, not really. I just like everything that tastes really, really good. Sweet, spicy, crunchy, as long as it's yummy, I like it. Shui Tianfei heard that honest answer and immediately realized she was dealing with a genuine little foodie at heart, her own smile softening. Meow meow, Auntie Shui isn't naturally very good at cooking yet, but I can learn quickly if I try hard. I'll make you all kinds of delicious new things going forward, okay? Just tell me what you like best, and I'll practice until it's perfect for you. It's okay, really. Uncle Xiao is already a really, really good cook. His food makes my tummy happy. Shui Tianfei paused for a brief moment, thinking strategically, then tried another angle with a warm laugh. Then how about Auntie Shui brings you lots of the demon realm's famous local specialties instead? Things like rare demon spirit fruits that glow with energy or special demon energy balls that taste like fireworks in your mouth? Just the smell alone is enough to make your mouth water and knock your socks off. Su Miao Miao's eyes lit up completely with pure delight, her little legs kicking happily. That sounds so amazing. I want to try them all. Auntie Shui, from now on, you're officially my second best friend in the entire demon realm. After Uncle Xiao. Shui Tianfei felt a warm surge of happiness but got a little curious, tilting her head playfully. Then who exactly is your number one best friend here? Uncle Xiao, obviously. He makes the best food and tells funny stories. Shui Tianfei snapped instantly with mock anger, her voice rising dramatically but playfully. Xiao Xingyi, you are so dead when I get my hands on you. Stealing my spot as number one. Right at that exact moment, Xiao Xingyi had just stepped cheerfully out of the kitchen carrying another tray of fresh snacks and suddenly felt a familiar chill run straight down his spine, his smile freezing. Get over here right now, you old schemer. What in the world did I possibly do to offend you this time, Tianfei? I was just making more food for the girls. Shui Tianfei dragged the protesting Xiao Xingyi firmly over to the quiet stone pavilion at the side of the courtyard. Once they were alone, her whole demeanor turned ice-cold and serious, though a hint of playfulness remained. I have a very important question for you. Do you know every single detail about that woman from the immortal domain? The ex-wife? Xiao Xingyi's face twitched uncomfortably, his hands raising in surrender. Could you maybe talk to me like a normal, civilized person for once instead of interrogating me like a criminal? I've actually been putting in a lot of good words for you with Qing'an this whole time behind the scenes, you know. Yeah, right. I'll believe that when I actually see solid proof with my own eyes. You're always scheming. Fine, fine. No good deed ever goes unpunished in this world. Just talk already. Stop wasting time. Tell me everything you know about the situation, the divorce, the children, what Qing'an said. A moment later, Xiaoxingyi spilled every single detail he had learned about the divorce, the children's choices, Su Ruian's announcement, and the overall events, leaving nothing out. After listening to the full story, Shui Tianfei was genuinely floored and shocked, her eyes widening. Wait, that woman is actually unbelievably stupid and short-sighted. How could she throw away a man like Qing'an for severing attachments? She had everything. Yep, that was pretty much exactly what I thought the first time I heard the whole story too. Foolish beyond words. Shui Tianfei caught herself quickly and corrected her tone, a small smile playing on her lips. Wait, I really shouldn't be calling her stupid out loud like that. If she had actually valued and cherished what she had, I would never have gotten even the smallest chance in my entire lifetime. Anyway, knowing Qing'an as well as I do after all these years, there is basically zero real chance he will ever consider going back to her now. So all you really have to do from now on is put in a little genuine, consistent effort, and the odds of eventually getting into his heart are actually pretty solid and realistic. The children like you already. You know what? After hearing all that, I think I actually like you a little bit more now, old Xiao. So I'll let you completely off the hook today. But if you ever sabotage me, I'll freeze your kitchen. After Xiaoxingyi sat in thoughtful silence for a solid half-hour, you had successfully finished converting your eldest daughter's entire cultivation base to align perfectly with Demon Realm demonic energy standards. You had even helped her break through an entire major realm in the process, her aura stabilizing beautifully. Then you brought a refreshed and stronger Su Shixuan out into the peaceful garden area, the flowers blooming brighter under the demon domain sun. When you saw that Shui Tianfei was actually having a wonderful, genuine time playing and laughing with little Su Miao Miao, the little girl chasing snowflakes Shui Tianfei created, you found yourself zoning out for just a brief second in quiet surprise, a strange warmth in your chest. You two seem to have gotten close very quickly. Miao Miao doesn't warm up to people this fast usually. Shui Tianfei laughed warmly and naturally, her usual cold mask completely gone in that moment. She's both cute and surprisingly sharp for her age. How could anyone not get attached to her quickly? She reminds me of you when you were younger, fearless and full of life. Miao Miao, go on, tell your dad honestly who your number one best friend is in the entire demon realm right now. Auntie Shui, of course. She makes pretty snow and tells good stories. You and Su Shixuan exchanged a quick, meaningful glance, both noticing how naturally Shui Tianfei fit into the family dynamic. Shui Tianfei really knows how to play the long game. She's good with the girls. But right at that precise moment, the personal message jade slip stored in your spatial ring began buzzing urgently, breaking the peaceful moment. You pulled it out calmly. It was an urgent message from your good old friend He Hong back in the immortal domain, his voice sounding tired but determined. I can't safely stay in the immortal domain any longer. Can I come and find you in the demon domain for refuge? Things have gotten complicated here. Old He, what exactly happened over there? Are you hurt? After you left so suddenly, everyone important eventually found out that you were actually one of the top, most feared figures of the demon domain all along. Given how close my personal relationship with you has always been, the entire sect now treats me like I'm practically the same as you. They're openly saying I betrayed the sect long ago and secretly brought demon domain people in. They only dare talk behind my back for now, of course, because they're still afraid of your shadow. But it's getting worse. Since you've already made your firm decision, just head straight to the official border where the immortal domain meets the demon domain. Then send me a quick message. I'll come pick you up personally and bring you across safely. Don't worry, no one will touch you once you're with me. Deal. Oh, I almost forgot to mention one important thing. Your ex-sister-in-law, Lu Yuni, is insisting very strongly on coming with me. She won't take no for an answer. She says she wants to see the girls and make sure they're okay. You didn't refuse the request. Lu Yuni had always been genuinely kind and good to both you and the children over the long years, even when things were tense. When the message transmission finally ended, both of your daughters had already rushed excitedly to your side, asking with bright eyes full of hope. Is it Grandpa He and Auntie Yuni coming to visit us? Can we see them soon? You nodded with a small smile, ruffling their hair. Both girls were instantly over the moon with happiness, jumping around and talking about what they would show Auntie Yuni in the demon domain. But when Shui Tianfei overheard the news from a short distance away, her eyes narrowed slowly with a mixture of curiosity and quiet competitiveness, her mind already turning. Good, let me finally see with my own eyes just what kind of person that woman's little sister really is. I wonder if she'll be trouble. Meanwhile, far away in a grand, opulent hall somewhere deep within the immortal domain, the atmosphere was heavy with unspoken tension. Sister, is there anything specific you would like me to pass along to the children when I see them? Any message or gift? Su Ruian closed her eyes for a long, heavy pause, her expression unreadable, the weight of the day's events still pressing on her. After what felt like an eternity, she finally spoke softly, her voice steady but laced with hidden emotion. Tell them that their mother now has her own important life and path to live. Tell them not to hold any resentment toward me in their hearts if they can. And make sure to take good care of yourselves out there in that dangerous place. Come back home soon if you can. The longer you stay deep in the demon domain, the more dangerous it will become for all of you. I worry every day. Lu Yuni heard every single word and felt completely crushed and heartbroken inside, her eyes stinging with unshed tears. Without saying another word, she turned and left the hall quietly, her steps heavy. The very next day, He Hong and Lu Yuni finally arrived together at the heavily guarded border zone between the immortal domain and the demon domain, the air thick with clashing energies. He Hong pulled out the communication jade slip and sent the agreed-upon message, his voice tired but relieved. We have safely made it to the boundary line. Where exactly are you waiting for us? We're ready. Not long after they cautiously crossed over the invisible dividing line, a powerful figure suddenly appeared silently in front of them, the air rippling with suppressed power. You stepped forward immediately to greet them, your presence reassuring. He Hong clapped you warmly on the shoulder with obvious relief and a tired laugh. First time crossing into the demon domain for both of us. Qingyan, you'd better keep us both very safe. I'm too old for surprises. Relax completely. No one in the entire demon domain would dare touch either of you while I'm around. Come on, follow me closely. The kids are already waiting excitedly for both of you back at the courtyard. They've been asking about you all morning. A little while later, after a smooth journey through the demon domain landscape, passing strange demonic flora and distant roars, you brought the two newcomers safely into the tranquil courtyard. After brief but warm introductions were made all around the group, with the children hugging Auntie Yuni tightly, Shui Tianfei suddenly pointed directly at you with a bright, confident smile and said openly to the two new arrivals, her voice carrying a hint of challenge. Oh, I almost forgot to introduce myself properly to both of you. I'm still actively and seriously pursuing him. Just so you know where things stand. The moment those bold, direct words landed in the middle of the room, the already slowly warming and friendly atmosphere instantly became awkward and tense again, eyes darting between everyone. You shot Shui Tianfei a long, speechless look, a mix of exasperation and amusement in your eyes. He Hong couldn't help but take a much longer, more appraising look at the beautiful woman, his eyebrows raising slightly. I really didn't expect Qingyan to be even more popular and sought after over here in his home territory. The demon domain suits you, old friend. Wait a minute, why does this woman look almost exactly like that powerful demon domain expert who got surrounded and attacked by a large group of immortal domain cultivators that day near the border? The one who barely escaped? You knew immediately that this particular conversation thread had to be cut off right there before it went any further and caused unnecessary tension. You both traveled a very long and tiring way to get here. You must be exhausted. Let's get everyone properly settled and rested first before we talk more. There will be time for stories later. Shui Tianfei saw you deliberately cut off the thread and wasn't particularly happy about it, her eyes flashing briefly. She quietly shifted her sharp gaze over to Lu Yuni, only to discover that Lu Yuni was already looking straight back at her with equal intensity and curiosity. The two women began sizing each other up carefully in a silent, loaded, and somewhat hostile stare down that lasted for several tense moments, the air between them crackling subtly. 2.5 minutes later, He Hong quickly grabbed your arm and pulled you firmly toward the quiet back garden area, away from the tension. Hey, Qingyan, are you and Su Ruyan really finished for good this time? If you need me to try and help patch things up between the two of you somehow, I'll do whatever I possibly can. After all, I was the one who originally introduced the two of you back then. I feel responsible. No need at all. Just let the matter go completely. It's done. All right then. If that's truly how you feel, I'm staying here in the demon domain for good from now on. Honestly, this old man has always just loved studying alchemy more than anything else. I don't really care much about power struggles or politics anymore. Just set me up with a proper, high-quality alchemy room here, that will be more than enough for me. Most importantly of all, I really like both of your children a lot. I want to stay and watch them grow up healthy, strong, and happy, teaching them a few tricks along the way. A faint trace of old sorrow and longing flashed briefly in He Hong's eyes. From what you already knew about his past, he had once had a beloved daughter of his own who had tragically died when she was still very young. The pain had never fully left him. All right. I'll have someone set up an excellent, fully equipped alchemy room for you immediately. Once you're fully settled in the demon domain, I'll make sure everything you need is arranged perfectly, ingredients, tools, assistants if you want them. He Hong chuckled warmly, clapping you on the back. I can't just take advantage of your generosity for free forever. Whenever you need any alchemy work done, pills, weapons, arrays, anything at all, just call me anytime. I'll handle it completely free of charge as thanks. Consider it my way of repaying you for the refuge. You joked back lightly to ease the mood, the garden flowers swaying in the breeze. Fine. You said it yourself. I'm definitely going to make full use of this free, high-level labor whenever I need it. Don't regret it later when I flood you with requests. A moment later, just as you were walking back through the hallway, you ran directly into Lu Yuni, who was coming out of Su Shixuan's room after spending some time catching up with her niece, her eyes a little red from emotion. Brother-in-law, can I talk with you alone for a few minutes? There's something I need to say. You thought about it for a brief second, then agreed quietly, sensing her sincerity. The two of you headed together toward the peaceful back garden area, the flowers blooming vibrantly around the stone path. But Shui Tianfei had seen the entire interaction from a distance. She turned sharply to Xiaoxingyi with narrowed eyes, her voice low. Her older sister already divorced him completely. Why is she still calling him brother-in-law so naturally? And why is she asking to talk with him alone like that? Doesn't she realize how inappropriate it can look for a man and woman to be alone together in private? People might talk. What's the big deal really? She has been calling him brother-in-law naturally for over 1,000 years now. It's not going to change overnight just because of one divorce. Give her time to adjust. Who exactly are you defending here right now? Her or him? Xiaoxingyi immediately broke out in a light cold sweat, raising his hands. I'm just saying what I see, and you clearly won't like hearing it. Fine, I'll shut up completely. I don't want to get frozen today. In the quiet back garden, standing alone with your former sister-in-law among the blooming flowers, you already had a very good idea of what she wanted to say, the scent of jasmine heavy in the air. The next second, Lu Yuni suddenly bowed deeply at a full 90-degree angle, her voice sincere and trembling slightly with emotion. Brother-in-law, I'm apologizing to you sincerely on behalf of my older sister for everything that happened that day. She was wrong, and I'm sorry for the pain it caused you and the children. You let out a deep, tired sigh, the weight of the day still lingering. You had always known she possessed a genuinely kind and gentle heart, even when the family was divided. Get up, Uni. It's really not your fault at all. I watched your sister grow up alongside you, so I know better than almost anyone else just how badly and single-mindedly she has always wanted power and strength. But even I never imagined things would turn out quite this badly in the end. You don't need to carry her mistakes. Alright, please stop apologizing. Things have already gone this far. There is truly no going back or changing what happened now. We all have to move forward. Lu Yuni lowered her head even further, her voice small and hesitant. If there is nothing else you need from me right now, let's head back to the others. I don't want to take too much of your time. Brother-in-law, I still want to apologize properly for what Jun-kan and my little brother said and did that day as well. They were out of line. You went completely quiet on the spot for several seconds, the garden birds singing in the background. What exactly is this girl born to do, apologize for everyone else's mistakes her whole life? It's not fair to her. So you forced a small grin onto your face to lighten the mood. Alright then. You really want to apologize sincerely, right? Then at least show some real sincerity in your actions instead of just words. Lu Yuni's face blushed deeply with embarrassment, her hands fidgeting. So, what exactly do I need to do for you to fully accept my apology? Tell me, and I'll do it. From now on, just stay here in the demon domain with us and don't go back to the immortal domain at all. Can you actually do that? Help look after the girls and train with them. You had only been lightly teasing her to ease the heavy mood, but after hearing the suggestion, she answered seriously and without hesitation, her eyes determined. I can go back first, say a proper goodbye to everyone, and then return here for good. If that's what it takes. You were genuinely taken aback for a moment, the teasing dying on your lips. Well, damn. Alright, I wasn't actually teasing you anymore. I accept your apology completely. Are you happy now? You don't have to prove anything. I honestly don't even know what to say to you anymore, brother-in-law. You always make things complicated in the kindest way. Lu Yuni actually looked a little quietly disappointed by the playful deflection, as if she had been hoping for a different answer. Seeing her expression, you turned around and headed back toward the main courtyard area without another word, the flowers brushing against your robes. When you arrived back, you saw He Hong staring obsessively and lovingly at one of the divine weapons he was holding in both hands, turning it over slowly, his eyes tracing every rune. When He Hong noticed you approaching, he said excitedly, his voice full of passion for his craft. This peerless divine weapon you gave me earlier, where exactly did you manage to obtain something of this quality? This level of forging skill and the rare grade of the metal used. I have honestly never seen anything close to it before in my entire life. The master who forged this treasure, his alchemy and forging level is definitely way above mine by a huge margin. I could learn so much from him. As for the actual person who created this masterpiece, if you're genuinely interested in learning, I can arrange for him to teach you advanced techniques directly. He owes me a few favors. He Hong was visibly thrilled at the possibility, his hands trembling slightly with excitement. Really? A true powerhouse like that would actually let someone like me study by his side as a student? I'd be honored. If he refuses to agree at first, then I'll simply beat him until he happily agrees to teach you. You really don't need to worry about any of that. He's reasonable once you apply the right pressure. Beat him until he agrees to teach? That doesn't sound like proper etiquette at all. And if I'm not mistaken, the one who originally made this incredible treasure is at the peak of the Grand Emperor realm. Are you really sure you can beat someone that strong? He might be stubborn. At that point, Xiao Xingyi chuckled knowingly from the side of the garden, leaning against a pillar. Brother He, just trust Qingyin completely on this. No one in the entire demon domain dares to openly disobey him these days. Otherwise, they usually end up getting beaten quite thoroughly until they learn better. He has a reputation for a reason. As soon as those words left his mouth, both He Hong and Lu Yuni looked completely shocked and stunned, their eyes widening. Haha, perfect then. In that case, I'll head over to the Tianyu vault right away and gather some of the best rare materials I can find for future forging projects. With Skyfall Divine Gold and my skills, we can make wonders. Then you pointed casually at Lu Yuni and the others who were still not yet at the Grand Emperor realm. By the way, those of you who haven't reached the Grand Emperor realm yet, come with me for a while. There is a special, dangerous place I know of that can thoroughly cleanse and temper your physiques. It will make breaking through to the Grand Emperor realm much smoother and easier for all of you later on. The energy there is harsh but purifying. You turned to Xiao Xingyi one last time before leaving. Old Xiao, you should still have Wang Duanshan's personal transmission mark saved, right? Tell him to come here as soon as possible. I want him to help build another top-quality alchemy room. After that is finished, he can also help with advanced weapon forging projects whenever needed. We have big plans. Xiao Xingyi nodded quickly and pulled out his jade slip without delay, already composing the message. Then you took the four of them, He Hong, Lu Yuni, Sun Mingzi, and Luo Danhong, and departed for the special location, the group chatting lightly as you flew. After you had all left, Xiao Xingyi took out his transmission jade slip and contacted Wang Duanshan, his voice casual. Hello? Wang Duanshan? Yeah, it's me again, your favorite troublemaker. If it's you calling, then I'm hanging up right now. Bye. Wait. Wait a second, what do you mean by? Don't be like that. This time it's honestly not me who is looking for you. It's that guy. Get over here right now. He wants your expert help with forging new treasures and also wants a brand new alchemy room built here in the courtyard. It's important. You're clearly trying to scam me again like last time. The previous time you said he was finally back and tricked me all the way over there just so I'd help you forge that special weapon. You really expect me to fall for the exact same trick twice? I'm not that gullible. This time it is 100% real. I swear it on my honor. If I'm lying to you this time, then I'm officially your grandson from now on. Happy? You've already been my grandson once before, remember? You lost that bet last year. Xiao Xingyi went silent for a long, awkward moment, then tried a different approach, his voice turning serious. If you still don't believe me at all, just ask Shui Tianfei yourself. She is standing right here next to me and can confirm it. Shui Tianfei's clear, calm voice came through the jade slip immediately, carrying authority. That's right. He really is back this time. Stop being stubborn and come. Oh, so both of you got smarter and coordinated your story this time, huh? You're not even bothering to copy his voice directly anymore. Now you're cleverly copying Shui Tianfei's voice instead? You both sound pretty convincing together, but I still ain't falling for it and coming over. Nice try. Haha, if you've really got the guts, then come over here right now and try to beat me up yourself. I'll be waiting. The next second, Wang Duanshan decisively hung up the transmission jade slip with a click, leaving Xiao Xingyi staring at the silent slip in mild frustration. At that exact same moment, high above the vast, barren eastern wastelands of the demon domain, you looked out over the familiar desolate landscape with a faint, nostalgic smile appearing on your face, the wind whipping through your hair. This wild, dangerous region was exactly where you had first begun your legendary rise to becoming the undisputed strongest expert in the entire demon domain many ages ago. The legendary Jushian Black Knight artifact, capable of instantly killing even a full Grand Emperor level expert, had been obtained right here in these same dangerous lands after countless deadly trials and near-death experiences. You looked seriously and protectively at the four people traveling with you, your voice firm. Stay very close to me at all times from now on. Once we go deeper inside this place, do not step even 1 foot outside my protective energy shield or you will be instantly torn apart by the leftover ancient demonic flames and the dense corpse chi that still lingers here. It's not a place for the weak. Then you turned specifically to Su Shixuan alone, your tone softening. Shixuan, keep a very close eye on your little sister the entire time. Don't let her run off or wander even a little bit. She's curious and might chase something shiny. Don't worry at all, sis. I'll behave perfectly and stay right beside you, Su Meow Meow promised obediently, clutching her big sister's hand tightly, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and excitement. Among the four travelers, only Sun Mingzi truly understood just how terrifying and deadly the Tianyu demon cavern truly was. The number of grand emperors and even peak experts who had fallen inside its depths over the long centuries had already exceeded what any normal person could count on one hand. She swallowed nervously but stayed silent. You gathered the four of them closely and turned into a single streak of brilliant light, plunging straight downward into the massive, yawning pit that formed the entrance to the Skyfall Demon Cave, the wind howling around you. What in the world are those 5 people doing? They're flying straight into the heart of the infamous Skyfall Demon Cave without any hesitation or protection. They must all have a death wish or be completely insane. You didn't slow down your descent at all. If anything, you accelerated even faster, the air growing hotter and thicker with demonic energy. In the blink of an eye, you had safely brought the entire group roughly 3 miles deep into the cavern, the walls glowing with faint runes. This exact spot should be perfect for you four. The energy here is suitable for cleansing. You waved your hand casually. A massive, glowing protective light shield immediately expanded outward, covering a full 10 zhang radius safely around everyone, the barrier humming with your power. You four stay right here inside this shield and focus on tempering and cleansing your physiques with the special energies present. It will strengthen your foundations. I'm heading much deeper inside to gather some extremely rare materials. Do not step even 1 inch outside this shield no matter what happens. Ignore anyone or anything that might show up nearby. No one strong enough to actually hurt you will be able to break through my barrier. Stay safe. Okay, Dad. Meow Meow will wait patiently right here for you to come back safely, the little girl promised cutely, sitting down obediently. Then you flew deeper into the dark, dangerous depths of the cave alone, the temperature rising and the air growing heavier with ancient power. At your previous peak strength many years ago, you could only barely reach about 35 miles down into the cave even when using everything you had. Now that you had returned far stronger, you fully intended to reach the absolute bottom and gather as much priceless Skyfall divine gold as possible, the material that could forge weapons capable of shaking the realms. You zipped downward rapidly and reached around the 25-mile mark. You were slightly surprised to spot a stunningly beautiful woman cultivating quietly at that dangerous depth, her robes fluttering in the hot wind. You glanced at her only once in passing, then continued zooming straight past her toward even greater depths without stopping, your focus on the task. The woman felt a brief black blur of light flash right beside her at incredible speed, her eyes widening in shock. No way. At this dangerous depth, how could anyone possibly fly down so casually and effortlessly like that? Who is he? Moments later, you reached the old 35-mile limit. Back in the past, you had already harvested every piece of Skyfall divine gold available at this particular level, the walls still showing scars from your previous visits. Alright, let's see exactly how far I can push myself with double my normal strength now. Time to test the limits. 2.5 minutes of steady descent later, you had reached 45 miles deep and successfully collected 2 massive, millstone-sized chunks of pure Skyfall divine gold, the material heavy and pulsing with power in your spatial ring. You looked even further downward into the seemingly endless darkness, the pressure increasing. This cave only goes about 50 miles deep at most, huh? Doubling my strength still isn't quite enough to reach the true bottom comfortably. Time to crank everything up to triple power and see what happens. In a single flash of dark light, your full cultivation base surged dramatically to 3 times its normal output, your aura flaring briefly before you controlled it. Man, being this overwhelmingly strong really does feel incredibly good. All that previous discomfort and resistance vanished instantly. The body adapts. A full quarter hour of focused descent later, pushing against the increasing pressure and heat, you finally reached the absolute bottom of the legendary Skyfall Demon Cave. Right at the very center of the deepest pit floated one enormous, pristine chunk of Skyfall divine gold that radiated ancient, untamed power, larger than any you had seen before. Your eyes lit up with genuine excitement, a rare smile touching your lips. This single massive piece alone is more than enough to forge dozens of supreme treasures and weapons that could shake the realms. The quality is perfect. But as you studied the gold carefully and closely, circling it slowly, you suddenly spotted something unusual at its very core, a translucent, pulsing energy mass that seemed strangely alive and aware, glowing faintly with an inner light. What the hell is hidden inside there? It actually feels alive and conscious. This is new. Right at that exact moment, the mysterious energy mass launched a sudden, terrifying attack straight toward you with surprising speed and power, the wave of energy roaring like a beast. Little thing is actually alive, and pretty aggressive and feisty too. It has spirit. You waved one hand almost lazily and effortlessly blasted the terrifying aura completely away, the attack dissipating harmlessly. I'm definitely going to find out exactly what you really are. You're coming with me. Driven by pure curiosity now, you pressed forward slowly but steadily, your steps measured against the increasing resistance. But with every single step you took closer, the living energy inside the gold blasted out increasingly powerful defensive waves, desperately trying to stop you from getting any nearer, the air crackling with energy. Feisty little thing, aren't you? You honestly think you can actually hurt or stop someone like me? Cute. When you finally reached the massive piece of gold and touched it directly with your dark, supreme power, the living energy inside suddenly went completely quiet and still, as if terrified into submission, the pulsing slowing. This strange thing is clearly scared of the Jushian black flame. It recognizes the threat. Every single time you had collected Skyfall divine gold in the past, you had always used the purifying black flame to safely neutralize and suppress its wild, chaotic energy. You still had absolutely no clue what this living energy mass actually was, a spirit, a remnant soul, or something older. Might as well take the entire thing back with me. Maybe someone back at the courtyard will recognize what it is. Old Xiao or Wang Duanshan might know. Meanwhile, back at the 3-mile mark inside the safer upper section of the cave, the beautiful woman who had been quietly cultivating at the 25-mile depth stared with open curiosity at the large, stable protective light shield, her eyes narrowing in professional interest. What exactly is this unusual formation? How are people at such relatively low cultivation levels not dying instantly inside such a dangerous environment? The energy here should be lethal. Her gaze suddenly sharpened with intense interest as she observed the group. Wait a second, that young girl over there clearly has a rare innate formation physique. Even with all of my fully developed righteous talent and training, I don't possess anything close to that level of natural affinity. Is this entire powerful shield actually her own formation? Huh. A talent this pure and rare, she must become my personal disciple. I have finally found a truly worthy successor after searching for so many years. The heavens are smiling on me today. Just as she was about to step forward and greet Lu Yuni warmly, her eyes suddenly turned fierce and cold again, her expression hardening. Wait just a second, she is clearly radiating pure spiritual energy from the immortal domain. She is an outsider. This complicates things. As the red-robed woman glared suspiciously at Lu Yuni, the younger woman opened her eyes calmly and met her gaze directly, her voice steady despite the pressure. Can I help you with something, senior? You've been staring for a while. But then the red-robed woman's entire attitude flipped completely in an instant, becoming warm and friendly, her voice softening. Sorry about that sudden glare. I just saw someone clearly from the immortal domain and lost my composure for a brief moment. The truth is, I noticed your extremely rare innate formation physique and would very much like to take you as my personal disciple. Would you be interested in learning all of my advanced formation skills and secrets from me? I can teach you things no one else in the demon domain can. With those words, she unleashed her full, powerful righteous cultivation aura in a controlled display, the air around her shimmering with formation runes. Lu Yuni froze completely in place, her heart racing. The strongest formation master she had ever met during her time in the immortal domain was nothing more than a weak shadow compared to the overwhelming skill and presence this woman radiated. The offer was tempting beyond words. You really want to accept me as your disciple? Even though I'm from the immortal domain? I do. But first, you will have to completely abolish your current immortal domain cultivation base and switch fully over to our demon domain techniques and energy system. It's the only way to fully integrate my teachings. Lu Yunyi's face fell noticeably with disappointment and hesitation, the offer suddenly feeling like a heavy price. Just then, Su Shixuan called out sharply from nearby, her voice protective. "Auntie, please don't answer her yet. Wait until my dad gets back safely before you decide anything important. He'll know what to do." Lu Yunyi thought that was very sensible advice, her shoulders relaxing slightly. "Senior, can we please wait until my brother-in-law returns before making any final decisions? I don't want to rush something this important. When exactly will he be back? And were you the one who set up this incredibly strange and powerful shield? It's unlike any formation I've seen. He only stepped out deeper into the cave for something important and should return soon. As for the shield itself, that is entirely my brother-in-law's doing. He created it casually." The red-robed woman was visibly surprised. She had honestly never encountered such a strange yet incredibly sturdy formation technique before in all her long years of study. It defied conventional logic. Her full name was Luo Danhong, widely recognized as the single strongest formation master currently living in the entire demon domain, her name whispered with awe in formation circles. Driven by professional curiosity, she reached out carefully to touch the edge of the glowing shield, her fingers tracing the air. The very next second, a terrifying counterattack blasted violently toward her without any warning, the barrier reacting to the touch like a living thing. Luo Danhong instantly threw up her strongest defensive formation with practiced speed, runes flashing around her. When the two opposing forces collided, the entire surrounding space seemed to dim dramatically for a moment, the clash sending ripples through the cave. Luo Danhong regretted her impulsive action instantly. She could barely hold her defense together under the immense pressure, her arms shaking. Just then, a calm figure appeared silently directly behind her, the air barely stirring. "You asked in a perfectly even tone, your presence dominating the space. What exactly is your personal relationship to Huang Hao, the current top formation master of the demon domain? Are you his direct disciple?" Luo Danhong gasped desperately for air, still struggling to maintain her formation. "I'm not his disciple at all. He is actually my junior brother by seniority. We studied under the same master many years ago." As soon as those honest words left her mouth, the overwhelming pressure vanished completely, the barrier calming. "Since you are his senior sister and I sensed no real hostile intent from you, I will spare you this one time. Don't test the shield again." Luo Danhong sighed in deep, visible relief, wiping sweat from her brow. When she finally looked up properly at you, her entire expression changed dramatically with recognition and awe. "That's the exact same man who flew past me so casually and effortlessly at the 25-mile depth earlier. His speed was inhuman. You walked over calmly to your eldest daughter, listened carefully to everything that had just happened, then turned to face Lu Yunyi directly, your voice kind but firm. If you truly want to take her as your master, you will not have to abolish or destroy your current cultivation base at all. I can personally handle the full conversion process for you smoothly and without pain. It's your choice." Lu Yunyi said somewhat awkwardly that she did kind of want to accept the offer, but she honestly couldn't commit to staying here forever right now, her thoughts on her family back home. You saw straight through the real worries hidden behind her words, your eyes gentle. "If you're holding back mainly because of your older sister and younger brother back home, I honestly say just ignore their opinions for now. Your sister is completely obsessed with gaining more power. Simply tell her you want to get much stronger here and she will most likely agree without too much argument. We don't even need to mention your brother at all. This is your life. You had one small, slightly selfish reason for encouraging her to stay. If she remained here, she could help look after and guide the two young girls better while you handled other matters, and her presence might bring stability." Lu Yunyi thought about the suggestion carefully for a long moment, the weight of the decision pressing on her. "I'll think seriously about it. There is no need to rush my final decision about going back. Thank you for the offer." Meanwhile, Luo Danhong hung her head slightly, feeling a little wronged and sidelined in the conversation, her pride as a master slightly bruised. I'm supposed to be the one actively recruiting and choosing worthy disciples. Why am I suddenly not getting any real say in this whole situation? It's my technique. When she looked up again, you were already standing directly in front of her with a calm expression, your presence commanding. We are all leaving for Demon Tomb City shortly. Are you coming along with us? You can continue the discussion there. Luo Danhong nodded quickly without any further hesitation, her curiosity winning over her pride. Also, I have to say, your formation skills and understanding are clearly way superior to that old show-off Wang Hao. How come he has never once mentioned his talented senior sister to anyone? He always brags about being the best. You clearly know my junior brother well enough. He absolutely loves being the undisputed center of attention at all times. He was always secretly scared that I would eventually steal his precious title as the strongest formation master in the entire demon domain, so he deliberately never told anyone about my existence. Honestly, I only care deeply about studying and improving formations themselves, not about fame, titles, or public recognition. The formations are the art, not the artist. You were left genuinely speechless for a moment. That old formation master was even more shameless and self-centered than you had ever imagined possible. It almost made you laugh. Half an hour later, the entire group returned safely to the small but comfortable courtyard in Moling City, a place the locals were increasingly calling Demon Tomb City because of its ancient history and the powerful figures who had once walked its streets. When you saw Wang Duanshan already waiting there with an impatient but excited expression, his tools laid out, you grinned broadly. Old Wang, you actually showed up this time. Haha, I can't believe you really came after all those tricks old Xiao pulled in the past. Good thing Shui Tianfei sent me a private message ahead of time warning me it was real. Otherwise I would have messed everything up again by refusing to come. I told this old schemer you were finally back, but he still refused to believe a single word I said and called me a liar. Wang Duanshan looked completely innocent and wronged, spreading his hands. You have no idea how many times this old Xiao has tricked and scammed me over the years with his stories. I couldn't risk falling for it again and wasting a trip. My time is valuable. You laughed awkwardly at the familiar banter, the courtyard feeling more like home already. Little Su Meow Meow stepped forward cutely and looked up at the new arrival with big eyes. Dad, who exactly is this grandpa? He looks like he makes things. This is Wang Duanshan, one of your dad's old and trusted friends from many years ago. He's a master forger. You can call him whatever you feel like calling him, Grandpa Wang is fine. The very next second, Su Meow Meow yelled cheerfully and innocently. Hi there, Grandpa Wang. Nice to meet you. You cringed hard inside at the casual title, knowing how much the old forger valued his dignity. Wang Duanshan froze for half a second, then broke into a huge, beaming smile that lit up his entire face, his earlier grumpiness vanishing. These two adorable girls are actually your daughters? They look just like you, sharp eyes and strong spirit. Su Shixuan saw the warm reaction and also called him Grandpa politely with a small bow, her manners impeccable. Those two simple, innocent titles hit the old forger straight in the heart. Wang Duanshan was completely and instantly won over, his chest puffing out with pride. Haha, hey there, you two little treasures. Grandpa Wang had no idea you even existed until today, so I didn't bring any proper welcome gifts with me. Tell you what, these two are among my very best 10th grade swords. Consider them Grandpa's personal welcome gifts for both of you. They'll grow with you. You looked at your slightly hesitant daughters and encouraged them gently. Don't worry at all. Just accept them happily. Grandpa Wang doesn't give gifts lightly. You grinned playfully at Wang Duanshan, clapping him on the shoulder. One sword each really isn't enough when you think about it. You can never have too many good weapons, right? Those sweet grandpa calls weren't free, after all. We're probably going to need 2 more swords for Lu Yuni and Sun Mingzi as well. Make them good ones. Yeah, take as many as you want, kids. Grandpa is loaded with all kinds of weapons. Nothing else of real value, just weapons. My forge is my life. Thanks so much, Grandpa Wang. You're the best. Wang Duanshan beamed with pure joy and satisfaction, his eyes misty for a moment. The entire generous scene left both Xiao Xingyi and Shui Tianfei stunned into silence. This notorious, stingy old cheapskate was suddenly being this openly generous and warm today? It was a miracle. Once your daughters had safely stored the new weapons away in their spatial rings, you walked over to speak privately with He Hong near the alchemy corner of the courtyard. Old Wang, I called you here today mainly to introduce you to someone important. This is He Hong, my old and trusted friend from the immortal domain. You two met very briefly earlier, right? He's skilled in alchemy and forging. Wang Duanshan immediately turned serious and professional, shaking He Hong's hand firmly. We only met very briefly before. He seems pretty skilled and knowledgeable about weapon forging already. Good eye for metal. Perfect. I called you here specifically to help me forge some new, high-level treasures and to teach him a few of your advanced forging tricks and secrets along the way. Share what you can. Sure thing. I'd be happy to help. Teaching is how we keep the craft alive. He suddenly realized something exciting, his eyes lighting up. You're planning to forge new weapons personally? You must have found some truly crazy, high-quality materials this time, right? The air around you smells of skyfall energy. As a lifelong forger, he lived for working with the rarest and most powerful materials available. It's in his blood. Got quite an impressive haul this time, actually. Wait until you see it. With those words, you calmly pulled out all the large chunks of Skyfall divine gold you had collected earlier from the depths of the cave, the material glowing with inner power on the table. After seeing the quality and quantity of the divine materials, Wang Duanshan's eyes nearly popped completely out of his head with pure greed and excitement, his hands reaching out instinctively. After working with all of this, I won't just be the best forger currently alive. I'll go down in history as the single greatest forger who ever lived. No one will ever be able to catch up to my level after this. The possibilities are endless. You nodded approvingly, crossing your arms. Same attitude as always. Figure out exactly how many high-level treasures we can realistically forge from these materials. Draw up detailed plans and lists, and I'll personally choose which ones I want made first. Take your time, quality over speed. With that important matter settled for now, you walked over to speak with both Lu Yuni and Luo Danhong near the garden path. You two should figure out your own living arrangements and plans for the next few days. The courtyard has plenty of rooms. If either of you decides to stay here long-term with us, come find me later so I can personally handle converting your cultivation bases smoothly and safely. No rush. Lu Yuni nodded gratefully, her eyes warm. You turned and left the group to handle other matters, your mind already planning the next steps for the children's training. Shui Tianfei, watching everything quietly from a short distance away, saw you talking closely and seriously with the red-robed formation master and felt a strange, uneasy jealousy stirring inside her chest, her fingers tightening on her sleeve. This new woman might actually try to steal him away from me if I'm not careful. I need to be more proactive. A quarter of an hour later, Lu Yuni found a quiet, private corner of the courtyard near the small pond and pulled out her personal sound transmission jade slip, her heart heavy. Sis, I have made up my mind. I want to stay here in the demon domain for good. It feels right. She hadn't been completely certain back inside the dangerous cave, but after spending time talking deeply with Luo Danhong and receiving a precious 10th grade sword as a thoughtful gift from little Su Miao Miao, her decision had become crystal clear. She wanted to grow stronger and protect the family she had chosen. On the other end of the transmission, Su Ruyan took a long, deep breath to steady herself, the hall around her feeling colder. She quickly sent a short message to her younger brother Lu Xianyu and then replied carefully, her voice strained. Did something bad happen to you over there? Were you hurt or threatened in any way? Tell me the truth. I'm perfectly fine. I actually received an incredible, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. With brother-in-law's personal help, I have already awakened a rare innate formation physique. It's real, sis. The moment those words were spoken, Su Ruyan's brother walked into the hall along with Lu Junkan, Jinran, their faces lighting up with shock when they overheard. When they both heard the words innate formation physique, they were visibly shocked beyond words, their eyes wide. Are you being completely serious right now? That kind of legendary physique only exists in ancient myths and records. It's supposed to be impossible to awaken in this era. I am 100% certain it is real. I felt it in my soul. See. Then Lu Yuni calmly explained everything important that had happened so far in careful detail: the cave, the offer, the shield, and brother-in-law's power. Su Ruyan listened intently, her brow furrowing deeper and deeper with suspicion, her fingers tapping the arm of her throne. This whole story sounds far too convenient and perfect to be true. And the woman offering to teach you is supposedly his friend's senior sister? You must be getting cleverly tricked or manipulated somehow. Be careful. Brother-in-law isn't the kind of person who would do that. He actually has a very special and powerful identity. I only just found out about it recently. He's not who we thought he was. She smiled bitterly to herself, the pieces slowly falling into place. Who would have ever imagined that her seemingly ordinary brother-in-law was actually the famous and feared eternal night demon emperor of the entire demon domain? The so-called peak that her older sister had been desperately and obsessively chasing after was nothing more than a tiny, insignificant starting point for him. The realization made her stomach twist. Just then, Lu Xianyu, who had always openly looked down on his brother-in-law with disdain, spoke up arrogantly, his voice loud. What kind of big, important identity could that useless man possibly have? He's probably just some random minor emperor from the demon realm at best. Our sister will definitely become far stronger than him someday soon with the Immaculate Emperor's seat. Standing right beside the actual eternal night demon emperor in the demon domain courtyard, Lu Yuni felt deeply conflicted and torn inside, the truth burning on her tongue. Better not say anything more right now. It would completely shatter my sister's hard-earned cultivation heart and confidence if she knew the full truth. She needs to focus on her own path. Brother-in-law is incredibly powerful and respected here, and he has already arranged everything perfectly for me. Please don't worry about my safety at all. I'm happier here. Lu Xianyu's scalp went numb with disbelief, his face reddening. Second sister, did that man somehow brainwash or threaten you? Why are you suddenly defending him so strongly and loyally? This isn't like you. Lu Yuni snapped back with uncharacteristic fire in her voice, her patience wearing thin. I know exactly what kind of person brother-in-law truly is deep down. He's kind, protective, and powerful in ways you can't imagine. And another thing, if you badmouth or insult him even one more time, you are no longer my brother from this day forward. I mean it. Su Ruyan saw the conversation rapidly getting heated and dangerous and quickly intervened to calm things down, her voice authoritative. Yuni, please calm down right now. Let's drop this entire topic for the time being. Think everything over carefully by yourself. We can talk again properly later when everyone has cooled down. Don't make decisions in anger. With those final words, Su Ruyan ended the transmission jade connection, the hall falling silent. But Lu Yuni had already figured out exactly what her older sister and Lin Qingxue were secretly planning behind the scenes, using talent as a tool for power. So she quickly sent another private message directly to He Hong on the other side for backup and confirmation, her fingers steady on the jade. Cut back to events unfolding in the Immortal Domain Hall, the tension thick enough to cut with a sword. Wait, what is going on? Elder, he still isn't picking up the call at all. This is suspicious. Lu Xianyu said through gritted teeth, growing more frustrated by the second, pacing the floor. Sis, something seriously shady and suspicious is definitely going on over there with Yuni. She's not herself. Hold on, let me try calling him one more time. Wait, maybe he was just genuinely busy with something important. Give him a moment. That was when Lu Junkan, Jinran, who had been standing quietly off to the side the entire time, suddenly spoke up with surprising conviction, his voice steady. "Mom, I honestly believe everything Auntie Uni said. Dad isn't the kind of bad person you and Master seem to think he is. He was always kind to us." "Dad's not like that?" Lu Xianyu shot back immediately and harshly, his temper flaring. "Lu Zhenran, don't act like you actually know your father well. Before your mother divorced him, did you ever once seriously think or suspect that he might actually be from the dangerous demon domain? He hid it from all of us." Lu Zhenran went completely silent, unable to argue against that point, his shoulders slumping. Right at that tense moment, the message jade slip suddenly lit up again with an incoming call, the light bright in the dim hall. "Ruyan, what's the sudden rush? You needed me for something urgent?" "I was in the middle of an experiment." Su Ruyan quickly and carefully explained everything she had just heard from her younger sister in detail, her voice tight. "Is all of this actually real and true? The innate physique, the offer, everything?" He Hong immediately got fired up and defensive on the other end of the line, his voice rising. "It is completely real. Don't worry yourself sick, your ex-husband is absolutely terrifying and respected over here in ways you can't even begin to imagine. He's not the man you thought he was. Anything else you need? If not, I really have to get back to my own work right now. The forge is calling." Su Ruyan felt a growing, uneasy premonition rising in her chest, her fingers gripping the armrest. "Elder He, are you absolutely sure everything you just told me is the complete truth? No omissions?" "Ruyan, that question feels pretty cold coming from you after all these years. When have I ever lied to you about anything important? If you don't fully trust my words, then why did you even bother calling me in the first place? I'm not your enemy." And just like that, He Hong decisively hung up the transmission, leaving Su Ruyan staring at the silent jade slip. On the other side of the connection, Su Ruyan's brow creased deeply with worry and suspicion, her mind racing with possibilities. "No. Uni absolutely has to come back home soon. I can't let her stay there." Lu Xianyu let out a heavy sigh, rubbing his temples. "At this point, I really don't think second sis is planning to come back at all. Even Elder He seems completely on their side now. This is bad." Su Ruyan cut her off firmly, her voice leaving no room for argument. "We won't know anything for certain until she comes back here in person. If everything she said turns out to be true, then we will have no choice but to let her go her own way. But I still don't believe it fully. Something feels off." A quarter of an hour later, back in the demon domain courtyard, Lu Yuni pulled you aside into a quiet corner near the small pond, the water reflecting the afternoon light. "Brother-in-law, I have finally made up my mind completely. I want to stay here with all of you. It feels like the right choice for my future. But my older sister is still very worried that I'm not making this choice completely freely or safely. So I might have to head back to the immortal domain for a short visit just to prove that everything is fine and say proper goodbyes to the family. Having you decide to stay here is genuinely great news. The girls will be happy." "Sure, when exactly do you want to leave?" "I can take you. Right now, if possible. The sooner I settle this, the better." You nodded without hesitation, your hand on her shoulder reassuringly. Then you tore open a stable spatial rift with a casual wave and brought Lu Yuni with you, arriving instantly at the official border zone between the demon domain and the immortal domain, the clashing energy swirling around you. "This should be far enough for safety, brother-in-law. Please send me a message as soon as you're done handling things on your side. I'll wait for your signal to return." With those parting words, the two of you went your separate ways for the time being, the border wind blowing between you. An hour later, Lu Yuni stood once again inside the familiar grand hall facing her older sister, the atmosphere heavy with expectation. But she immediately noticed two unfamiliar figures standing silently inside the hall with serious expressions, their aura strong. One was Jiang Huiran, widely recognized as the single strongest formation master currently living in the immortal domain, his robes embroidered with complex arrays. The other was a peak Emperor realm cultivator who specialized deeply in soul arts and interrogation techniques, his eyes sharp like needles. Lu Yuni let out a long, resigned sigh. She already knew exactly where this carefully staged confrontation was heading, a trap to keep her here. Sis, I came back here today for two main reasons, to prove clearly that I am perfectly safe and happy over there, and to say a proper goodbye in person. Now that I have done both, I really should get going back. The demon domain is waiting. Hold on just a moment. That only proves you weren't in any immediate physical danger. It still doesn't completely rule out the possibility that you have been cleverly manipulated or soul-controlled somehow. We need to be sure. Lu Yuni's entire body suddenly lit up with a strange, pure, and unmistakable glow, her innate formation physique activating instinctively. Then take a very close look at me right now. Am I lying to you in any way? Is this or is this not a genuine innate true body awakening? See for yourself. But Jiang Huairan's eyes were filled with pure, undisguised greed and ambition, his gaze lingering on her glowing form. He shot a meaningful, subtle look toward Lin Qingxue, signaling her. Lin Qingxue caught the signal immediately and stepped forward smoothly, her voice smooth as silk. Okay, maybe you truly haven't been deceived or harmed physically. But do you really need to travel all the way over to the dangerous demon domain just to learn advanced formation techniques? Let me properly introduce you to someone much better suited. This is Jiang Huairan, the greatest and most respected formation master in the entire immortal domain. His skills are unmatched here. Fellow Taoist Lin is absolutely right. The so-called strongest formation master in the demon domain? Just let him come stand before me and I'll crush him like a helpless bug under my foot. His techniques are crude compared to mine. Lu Yuni looked directly at the smug, arrogant Jiang Huairan and felt a powerful surge of pure anger rising inside her, her hands clenching. Senior, I have actually had the chance to personally examine some of your best formation work before during my time in the immortal domain. And compared to the ones I have already seen in the demon domain, yours are not even close in quality or sophistication. The demon domain formations are more elegant and powerful. If that honest opinion offends you, then I apologize in advance. Jiang Huairan barely managed to hold his temper in check, his face reddening slightly. Fine. I won't stoop to arguing with a junior like you today. But don't come crying back to me later when you regret your foolish choices and realize how much better you could have had it here. Lin Qingxue saw the conversation rapidly heading in the wrong direction and quickly switched tactics again, her voice turning concerned. All right then. If you are still completely set on your decision to leave, at least let your worried sister have some real peace of mind. Let this respected fellow Taoist perform a quick, harmless soul reading on you. It will only take a moment and will prove everything is fine. What do you say? For your sister's sake. Lu Yuni had absolutely nothing to hide or fear, so she nodded without any hesitation, her chin lifted. Go ahead and do it, fellow Taoist Jia. I have nothing to hide. The old soul arts specialist stepped forward confidently and summoned a thin beam of golden light at his fingertip, pressing it gently but firmly into Lu Yuni's mind, his eyes closing in concentration. A moment later, he privately relayed his findings directly to Lin Qingxue using a secret technique, his voice mental. Fellow Taoist Lin, her soul is completely normal and untouched in every measurable way. No tampering. Lin Qingxue's brow furrowed with clear frustration, her plan faltering. After a brief, calculated pause, she narrowed her eyes dangerously and gave a subtle signal. Fellow Taoist Jia, do exactly what I privately instructed you to do earlier. Twist the reading if needed. I have now confirmed it beyond any doubt. Her soul has clearly been tampered with using a very special and sophisticated secret technique. It's subtle but there. In that single, devastating moment, Lu Yuni understood everything with painful clarity, her heart sinking. She had been deliberately set up and framed by Lin Qingxue from the very beginning. The soul reading was rigged. Lin Qingxue chimed in quickly and smoothly, playing her part perfectly with feigned concern. See? I told all of you this situation wasn't simple or innocent at all. Ruyan, we absolutely cannot allow your sister to return to the demon domain under any circumstances. It's too risky. Su Ruyan frowned deeply, torn between her sister and her master's warnings, her hands gripping the arms of her throne. Uni, I have been feeling like something has been strangely off with you ever since you came back. Just stay safely in the immortal domain with us for a while longer, okay? We can figure this out together as family. Lu Uni looked genuinely heartbroken and betrayed, her eyes glistening. Sis, you really let me down this time. Even you don't trust my own words or choices anymore. After everything we've been through. Lin Qingxue jumped in immediately with feigned concern, her voice dripping with false kindness. Excuse me, is that really any way for a younger sister to speak to her elder? She is doing all of this difficult work purely for your own good and safety. Don't be ungrateful. That condescending tone was the absolute final straw for Lu Uni. Lu Uni completely snapped with uncharacteristic fury, her voice rising in the hall. Lin Qingxue, I have had more than enough of you and your constant interference. My sister's divorce, you had everything to do with pushing and manipulating that entire situation from the shadows. And now you are here once again trying to drive a painful wedge between me and my only sister? What is your real, hidden angle in all of this? Power? Control? Tell me. Lin Qingxue's face instantly darkened with barely controlled anger, her eyes flashing. Ruyan, just look at how your sister is acting right now. She has only been spending a few short days in the dangerous demon domain and she is already clearly soul-controlled or manipulated. If you foolishly let her go back there, you will regret it bitterly for the rest of your life. She's not herself. Lu Uni went into full, unrestrained fire mode, her temper finally unleashed. Lin Qingxue, you still have the nerve to stand there and claim I have been soul-controlled? Your whole family and bloodline are the ones who are truly soul-controlled and twisted. You manipulate everyone around you for your own gain. Su Ruyan was completely stunned into silence. She had honestly never seen her usually gentle and obedient little sister act with this much raw anger and defiance before. It was like seeing a different person. Uni, do you even realize what dangerous words you are saying right now? This isn't like you. I know exactly what I am saying and doing. I have never been more clear-headed or certain in my entire life. I'm done being controlled. With those words, Lu Uni slowly pulled out the powerful 10th grade sword that little Su Miao Miao had gifted her with so much love, the blade humming in her hand. Now I finally understand exactly how brother-in-law must have felt on that painful day in the hall. The betrayal, the pressure. She pointed the sharp blade straight and steadily at Lin Qingxue, her eyes burning. Be extremely glad right now that I don't possess even a fraction of my brother-in-law's true power. Because if I did, today would definitely be your very last day alive on this earth. You'd regret every scheme you've ever pulled. Lin Qingxue immediately switched to playing the innocent, concerned victim, her voice trembling theatrically. Ruyan, your poor sister has clearly lost complete control of herself. We have no choice but to keep her here safely by force if necessary. For her own good. Su Ruyan stared at her completely transformed little sister with wide, conflicted eyes and, once again in her moment of doubt, chose to believe her master's words over her own sister's, her voice shaking. Put the weapon down right now, Uni. Or don't blame me for whatever I have to do next to protect you from yourself. I can't lose you too. Those cold, threatening words broke something deep inside Lu Uni completely, tears finally spilling. She suddenly pressed the razor-sharp blade firmly against her own throat without any hesitation, the edge drawing a thin line of blood. You really want to keep me trapped here against my will? Then I will simply die right here in front of everyone. My life is mine to control, not yours. Su Ruyan's face went deathly white with shock and fear, her hands reaching out instinctively. She had never expected her gentle sister to be willing to go this far or risk her own life so dramatically. The sight broke her heart. She desperately wanted to make a move to stop her, but she knew her sister was a capable Saint King realm cultivator holding an absurdly overpowered 10th grade divine sword. One tiny, accidental movement of her arm and it would all be over in an instant, the blade sharp enough to cut through anything. Uni, please, just calm down right now. We can still talk everything out reasonably like family. Don't do this. There is honestly nothing left worth talking about anymore. My life belongs only to me to control. I'm done being a pawn. That was when Lu Xianyu, who had actually been quietly against his second sister leaving the family this whole time, suddenly stepped forward with unexpected courage, his voice cracking. Big sis, please don't make any sudden moves. I know second sis far better than anyone else here. I know exactly what kind of person she truly is deep down. I really do want her to stay here with the family, but not like this. Not if it means tearing our entire family apart in the process. Let her go if she wants. We can't force her. Su Ruyan's emotions were in complete, painful turmoil, swinging wildly between love for her sister, loyalty to her master, and fear of losing family forever. After what felt like the longest moment of her life, she finally let out a deep, exhausted sigh of defeat, her shoulders slumping. Fine, go if you must. But know that the door is always open if you change your mind. Before she left the hall for the last time, Lu Yuni took one long, final look at both her sister and her brother, her voice soft but firm. I am not coming back to the immortal domain again after this. If either of you still truly considers me your sister or family, then please trust my words completely. Lin Qingxue cannot be trusted with anything important. She manipulates everyone for her own gain. She turned slowly and gave Lin Qingxue one last cold, hard, warning glare, the sword still in her hand. You had better watch your back very carefully from now on. When I eventually become stronger than you, I am definitely coming back for you. This isn't over. With those final, heavy words still hanging in the air like a prophecy, Lu Yuni calmly summoned a powerful teleportation formation beneath her feet, the runes glowing brightly. In the blink of an eye, she was gone from the immortal domain hall, leaving behind stunned silence. Lin Qingxue immediately turned sharply to Jiang Huairan with urgency, her voice sharp. Break that teleportation formation right now and go after her before it's too late. We can't let her leave. But Su Ruyan spoke up firmly and decisively for the first time in a while, her voice leaving no room for argument. She has already made her own clear choice. Let her go freely. Forcing her will only make things worse. Lin Qingxue saw the serious, unyielding look in Su Ruyan's eyes and wisely backed off without further argument, though her eyes burned with frustration. Afterward, once everyone else had left the hall, Su Ruyan kept her master behind for a private conversation, the doors closing with a heavy thud. Master, was the soul reading you ordered just now completely fake and staged? Tell me the truth. Lin Qingxue lowered her head and stayed silent for a long, calculated moment, then finally looked up with steady eyes, her expression unapologetic. Ruyan, if you already know the real answer deep down, then why are you even bothering to ask me directly? You already suspect it. Su Ruyan took a slow, pained breath, trying to control her rising emotions, her voice cracking slightly. Why exactly did you do something like this to my own sister? She trusted you. Lu Yuni has successfully awakened a rare innate true body. A priceless talent like that choosing to stay and grow on our side of the immortal domain. Do you have any real idea how massively it would help our long-term plans and ambitions? Can't you see the bigger picture clearly yet? She is a resource. Su Ruyan finally exploded with raw anger and hurt, her fists clenched. She is my own flesh and blood sister, not just some disposable tool for your grand schemes. How could you treat her like that? Ruyan, you are still far too emotionally attached and soft. I have told you many times before, if you truly want real, unshakable power and immortality, you absolutely have to cut out every single emotional distraction and weakness completely. Emotions are chains. The air between master and disciple turned ice-cold and heavy with tension, the silence deafening. Fine then. Do whatever you feel you must do behind my back. But ask yourself honestly one question, is forcing my sister to stay here against her will actually good for her in the long run? You and I both know the truth. Even if she somehow gets the full help of the Eternal Night Demon Emperor himself, There is still no realistic way he can successfully convert her cultivation base without crippling her permanently. She would just end up weakened and vulnerable in the demon domain. That outcome is still far better than letting her die here under your schemes or waste her talent. And what angers me the most about what you secretly pulled today is that you didn't even bother telling me your plan beforehand. If you ever try something like this again without my knowledge, don't blame me when I return the exact same favor to you someday. I mean it. Lin Qingshua's brow tightened with visible irritation, her eyes narrowing. She is actually threatening me openly now? Getting far too bold and big for her boots after one lucky breakthrough. She's changing. Back at the tense border zone between the demon domain and the immortal domain, the wind carrying the scent of two clashing realms. Lu Yuni spotted your familiar figure waiting patiently and instantly felt safe and at ease again, the weight of the immortal domain lifting. Brother-in-law, can you actually convert my cultivation base successfully without harming me? I'm ready. You smirked confidently, your presence reassuring. Have I ever lied to you even once in all these years? I'll take care of the entire process right now. It won't hurt. In less than an instant, you brought Lu Yuni safely back to the peaceful courtyard in the demon domain, the familiar sights and sounds welcoming her. Luo Danhong was already waiting there patiently near the training area, her formation tools laid out. Lu Yuni dropped gracefully to both knees in respect, her voice sincere. Master, please accept my sincere bow and formal request to become your disciple. I want to learn from you. After everything painful and humiliating she had just experienced back in the immortal domain hall, she was now burning with even stronger determination to become truly powerful and protect her new family. Get up quickly, child. No need for such formal bows every time. Luo Danhong rushed forward kindly and helped her new disciple rise to her feet, her expression warm. Then, from directly behind Luo Danhong, you placed a firm but gentle hand on her shoulder, your voice carrying quiet authority. Fellow Taoist Luo, I am officially placing her fully in your capable hands. Teach her well and thoroughly. If she progresses excellently under your guidance, I will make sure to reward you very handsomely for your efforts. Don't disappoint me. Luo Danhong instantly shuddered visibly at those loaded words. In her mind, that was both a promise and a subtle warning: succeed and be rewarded, fail and face consequences. Right at that moment, Xue Tianfei caught the entire scene unfolding from a short distance away. She was absolutely fuming with quiet jealousy inside, her fingers digging into her palms. After finishing the formalities with Luo Danhong, you took Lu Yuni alone into a small, quiet grove of ancient trees for privacy, the leaves rustling softly. Your current cultivation realm right now is already several times stronger than what it used to be back in the immortal domain. Any cultivation base below the Grand Emperor realm can be converted freely and safely by me. It will feel like a warm current. A quarter of an hour later, you had successfully and smoothly converted Lu Yuni's entire cultivation foundation to pure, high-quality demonic energy without any pain or loss, her meridians glowing with new power. Alright, the conversion is completely finished. Just settle in comfortably and make yourself feel completely at home here with us. If anything ever comes up that you can't handle on your own, just come find me immediately. We're family now. In that quiet moment, a strange, complicated mix of emotions washed suddenly over Lu Yuni's heart: gratitude, warmth, and a hint of something deeper. You noticed the shift immediately and cleared your throat awkwardly, stepping back. If there is nothing else important right now, I'll head out and leave you to adjust. Take all the time you need to get fully used to your new cultivation state. Rest well. And with those slightly flustered words, you turned and bolted away quickly, the grove falling silent. Lu Yuni's face turned beet red with embarrassment, her heart beating faster as she watched you leave. But right at that moment, she noticed an incoming message notification from her little brother on her jade slip, the light blinking urgently. After hesitating for only a brief second, she decided to pick up the call, her voice steady. "Second sis," you finally replied. "I was honestly freaking out over here. I thought you might have done something stupid or dangerous after that fight with Master. Are you okay?" Hearing her younger brother's genuinely worried voice, Lu Yuni felt a warm surge of familial affection in her chest, easing some of the pain from earlier. I'm perfectly fine. Brother-in-law came and got me safely. And he has already finished converting my cultivation base completely. It feels stronger now. Lu Xianyu was genuinely shocked beyond words, his voice rising. Second sis, you were already at the Saint King realm. How is something like that even remotely possible? You have to be messing with me right now. That's not normal. Hey, when have I ever lied to you about anything serious? You have always had way too low an opinion of brother-in-law. You really underestimate just how incredible and powerful he actually is. He did it casually, like it was nothing. That honest statement completely shut Lu Xianyu up for several long seconds, his mind reeling. Lu Yuni knew her brother still wasn't fully convinced deep down, so she continued gently. Little bro, promise me right now that you won't tell big sis even a single word of what I'm about to say next, and I'll tell you something important that will make the entire situation click into place instantly for you. Swear it. What exactly do you mean by don't tell big sis? What kind of huge secret are you even talking about? Just say it already. I'm worried about you. Swear a binding oath on the heavenly Tao first. If you break your word and tell big sis anything, you will never get together with the girl you secretly like for the rest of your life. I mean it. Lu Xianyu's jaw dropped in complete disbelief, his face paling. Second sis, have you gone completely insane? You can't just casually swear something that heavy and serious on the heavenly Tao. That's dangerous. Are you going to swear the oath or not? If you refuse, I'm never talking to you again about anything important. Choose. Lu Xianyu hesitated painfully for a long moment, then finally clenched his jaw and took the serious heavenly Tao oath, the air around him humming with the binding. Fine. Happy now? The oath is sworn. Now tell me. So Lu Yuni stumbled nervously through the explanation and finally got the shocking words out, her voice low. Brother-in-law, he is actually your longtime idol and hero. He is the legendary eternal night demon emperor of the entire demon domain. The one you used to talk about as a kid. Lu Xianyu instantly fired back in disbelief through the jade slip, his voice cracking. Second sis, are you seriously trolling and messing with me right now? That can't be true. When have I ever lied to you about anything this important? And just think about it logically for a second. Aren't you even a little bit curious about where that incredibly godly sword I suddenly pulled out during the fight back in the immortal domain actually came from? That transcendent grade sword I used to carry around proudly, where exactly do you think it came from? And did you ever see anyone even remotely stronger or more powerful than him during all your time in the immortal domain? Because swords of that quality are literally just casual toys for both Miao Miao and Shishuan to play with every day. They treat them like normal weapons. At this point, Lu Xianyu was absolutely kicking himself mentally and emotionally, regret flooding him. He slapped himself hard across the face right then and there in regret, the sound sharp. Sis, can I ask you something honestly? Does my brother-in-law completely hate me now? Like, does he have zero good feelings or forgiveness left for me at all? Is it already too late for me to turn things around and fix my mistakes? I was awful to him. All right. As long as you honestly know and admit how badly you messed up, I'll try my very best to put in a good word for you with your brother-in-law from now on. He's not the type to hold grudges forever if you show sincerity. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much, sis. You really are my absolute favorite sister in the whole world. Mwah. I owe you big time. Lu Yuni let out an awkward but fond laugh. When her little brother wasn't arrogantly running his mouth, he could actually be pretty decent and likable, the brother she remembered from childhood. Right then, Lu Xianyu decided to fish carefully for even more valuable information while he had the chance, his voice eager. Oh yes, sis, how exactly is he Hong doing these days over there? He's so close with my brother-in-law. He must be living the absolute dream life right now, right? Tell me everything. Old he? With brother-in-law's personal help and connections, he is about to get the single best and most advanced forging chamber in the entire Kenyan continent. On top of that, the strongest and most skilled weapon forger in the whole demon domain is personally teaching him advanced, secret forging techniques every day. He's in heaven. Lu Xianyu drooled with open envy and longing, his eyes glazing over. Oh man, that lucky guy has it so incredibly good right now. I'm jealous. No, sis, I'm going to tell big sis everything right now. I want to come over to your side immediately too. Please let me. Absolutely not. It is definitely not the right time yet. There is actually another important reason I reached out to you today. Watch out very carefully for Lin Xingxue at all times and make sure to keep Shinran as safe as possible. I have always felt deep down that Lin Xingxue is secretly up to something dangerous. She manipulates everyone. I'll focus on leveling up as fast as humanly possible on my end. Just wait patiently for me to become strong enough to come back and handle things properly. Protect the family until then. Lu Xianyu gave a serious, determined nod, his voice firm. Got it. I'll look after myself and Jinran very carefully. I promise. Be safe over there, sis. Alright, that's everything for now. Stay strong. And with those final words, Lu Yuni decisively ended the transmission, the jade slip going dark. The next clear morning, Wang Duanshan tracked you down personally in the courtyard and suddenly handed you a very detailed, hand-drawn blueprint, his eyes shining with excitement. Take a good, long look at this. Everything listed here can be successfully forged using the Skyfall Divine Gold you brought back. Go ahead and pick your 10 favorite items. I've already calculated the material costs. 10 different treasures? That many at once? That's ambitious. If you decide to skip making the full armor set, you could probably squeeze out a few more smaller pieces. But the armor is important for protection. The armor set is completely non-negotiable. I need at least one high-quality set for my daughter as well. Safety first. You took the detailed blueprint and began studying it very carefully, considering each option thoughtfully, the paper warm from his hands. Once you had finished reviewing every item listed, you turned back to Wang Duanshan with a practical question, the morning sun warming the courtyard. Right now across the entire demon domain, which major markets or auctions regularly carry high-quality time artifacts? I want to get at least one good one for my kids to use for accelerated training. Time is precious. The real, hidden reason you were asking was to see whether Wang Duanshan might already have a spare one on him that he could lend or sell cheaply. Didn't I already give you a very good one many years ago? The time artifact with a stable flow rate of 1 to 100? It was one of my best works. You laughed a little awkwardly, rubbing the back of your neck. Well, back when I had to leave the Demon Emperor's palace in a hurry 1,000 years ago, I ended up giving that particular artifact to one of my old apprentices for safekeeping. So yeah, I really don't have one available right now. It's gone. Then he suddenly remembered something useful, his eyes lighting up. But a while back, I spent a very long time personally crafting a special, upgraded one specifically for the prestigious Moliu Academy. The base time flow rate is very similar to the one I made for you before, but I heard that when it is properly combined with the Academy's own prized treasure, the legendary time speed grinding flow, the overall acceleration rate can reach as high as 1 to 300 under ideal conditions. It's powerful. I see. That's honestly a shame. I guess I'll have to think of another reliable way to get what the kids need. Maybe negotiate with the Academy directly. With that practical matter temporarily set aside, you turned to your old friend Xiaoxinyi, who was sipping tea nearby. Hey, old Xiao, I remember clearly that you used to send quite a few of your personal disciples to train at the famous Moliu Academy every year. They must have all made some very solid progress by now. I've been seriously thinking about sending both of my daughters there to train properly for a while. It would let them interact with other talented kids their own age in a structured environment. What do you honestly think about that idea? Is it safe? The main reason you had even considered this option was because of a past mistake you had made. You had once raised a highly talented disciple in total isolation from the outside world. The young man had ended up incredibly powerful, but he had also become deeply antisocial, emotionally stunted, and filled with unnecessary murderous energy. You simply couldn't bring yourself to raise your own precious daughters in the same harmful, lonely way again. They needed friends, rivals, and normal interactions. Xiaoxingyi nodded very seriously after thinking it over, setting his tea down. I think it is actually a very wise and balanced decision. The Moleyu Academy is widely considered the single best starting place for young talents in the entire demon domain. It is nowhere near as brutal, bloody, or cutthroat as the rest of the demon realm outside its protected walls. It basically functions as a safe, solid starter zone for building real foundations and social skills. The teachers are strict but fair, and the environment is controlled. It's perfect for the girls. Alright then. Take me to meet the current principal of the Moleyu Academy whenever you get a good chance. I'll negotiate the terms myself. Xiaoxingyi's eyes narrowed with a sly, mischievous smirk, his fingers drumming on the table. That stubborn old geezer just so happens to be heading back to the academy tonight after a long trip. Why don't the two of us go ambush him together later this evening? He hates breaking rules, but he can't say no to you. You didn't say anything out loud in response, but your eyes twinkled. But the two old foxes, completely in sync after so many shared adventures, broke into the exact same sly, knowing grin at the same time, the plan forming silently. Once the plan was quietly set, you went to find Luo Danhong and asked her to personally design and build a stable, permanent teleportation array that would connect the courtyard directly to the Moleyu Academy. That way the children could come home safely and easily whenever they needed rest or family time, the array glowing with her runes as she worked. That same evening, you and Xiaoxingyi slipped quietly and unnoticed into the prestigious Moleyu Academy grounds, the moon high above. Xiaoxingyi pulled out a small transmission jade slip, his voice low. Xiaoshu, your master has arrived. Come out and show us the safest way inside. Keep it quiet. 2.5 minutes later, a respectful middle-aged man came running up to greet both of you, bowing deeply. His name was Song Shu, a reliable 2-star instructor at the Moleyu Academy, his robes neat. Master, you're finally here. I've been waiting discreetly. What happened? Did that stubborn old geezer come back earlier than expected? Is he in a bad mood? Not yet, but he shouldn't be much longer now. He's due any minute. Then lead the way quickly. I'm planning to make him pay dearly for all his past stubbornness tonight. He owes me. Xiaoxingyi was buzzing with excitement on the inside. Normally when he visited alone, that rigid old principal wouldn't budge even an inch on any rules. But with the person he had brought along tonight, he refused to believe the old man would still dare to be this stubbornly difficult. This was going to be fun. Song Shu then quietly and carefully led both of you deeper into the heart of the academy grounds, avoiding the main paths. But at that very same moment, inside the academy's heavily protected sutra depository, an elderly man with sharp eyes suddenly opened them wide, his formation senses tingling. This elder was none other than Lu Xingshu, the respected vice principal of the entire Moleyu Academy, his aura steady. He immediately pulled out his own private transmission jade slip and sent an urgent message, his voice mental. Demon Emperor, greetings. I have successfully located the exact man you have been searching for all this time. He has just shown up here at our Moleyu Academy together with Xiaoxingyi. They're heading toward the principal's quarters. Good work. You will be generously rewarded for this. Keep watching. This mysterious contact was none other than the current reigning ruler of the entire demon domain, the lone demon emperor. He had been patiently waiting and planning for this exact reunion for a very long time, his eyes gleaming in the darkness of his throne room. Master, how could you have been so heartless and abrupt? You left without even a proper goodbye and sent only one short letter saying you were gone. Do you have any idea at all what these long, lonely years have been like for your old disciple? I waited every day. His expression then shifted dramatically into something colder and more determined, his fists clenching. You just wait and see. My power has grown more than 10 times stronger than before. I'll make sure you finally see exactly what I am truly capable of now. The student has surpassed the master. Back inside a private reception room deep within the Millionfold Academy, Xiaoxingyi stood face to face with a dignified white-haired old man, the tension thick. That old man was none other than Lu Shiwei, the long-serving and extremely strict principal of the entire academy, his robes immaculate. Oh, so it's you again, Xiaoxingyi. Don't even think for a second that just because you brought along some important-looking person this time that I'm going to agree to any of your usual ridiculous, rule-breaking demands. The academy has standards. Xiaoxingyi cracked a confident grin, leaning against the table. This time around, it isn't me who wants to negotiate with you at all. It's him. Listen carefully. Right on cue, you stepped forward calmly, your presence filling the room. Principal Lu, since you clearly already know exactly who I am, I'll cut straight to the point without wasting anyone's time. First, starting tomorrow morning, I want my daughter to begin training here at your Millionfold Academy. Second, I want my daughter to have completely unrestricted access to your academy's most prized time artifact, the legendary time-speed grinding flow, whenever she needs or wants to use it. If you agree to these two simple conditions, I will personally handle one important matter for you in return. Name it. Lu Shiwei was absolutely floored and speechless for several long seconds, his teacup pausing mid-sip. He had never expected the eternal night demon emperor to have children, let alone make such bold and specific demands on the academy's most guarded resources. The room felt smaller. But after quickly regaining his composure, he flatly and stubbornly shot back, his voice firm. Tomorrow? That is completely out of the question. The next official new student entrance exam isn't scheduled for another full 3 years. Pass the exam fairly like everyone else, and then she can train here properly. Rules are rules. As for the second condition you mentioned, absolutely not. The time-speed grinding flow is our academy's single most prized and protected treasure. It cannot and will not be handed over casually to just anyone, no matter how powerful or important they claim to be. The academy's reputation is at stake. The moment those firm, uncompromising words landed in the room, the entire atmosphere turned deathly silent, the lanterns flickering. Xiaoxingyi's eye twitched visibly with disbelief. He genuinely could not believe the old principal was still this rigidly stubborn even now, after all these years. Old Lu really gives zero face or special treatment to anyone. He's consistent, I'll give him that. Rules are rules, and they apply equally to everyone. Whoever you are or claim to be, my final answer remains exactly the same. The academy has stood for centuries on these principles. He spoke those words with outward confidence, though internally Lu Shiwei was quietly panicking and sweating, his mind racing for a way out. But what he never expected was for you to suddenly say in a perfectly calm voice, your tone almost bored. Fine then. If it is truly a dead end with no flexibility, let's just leave right now. My daughter is probably already missing me back at the courtyard. We'll find another way. Lu Shiwei was genuinely caught off guard by the easygoing response, his mouth opening slightly. The Eternal Night Demon Emperor is really willing to be this reasonable and easygoing right now? No threats? But then, in the very next second, he heard Xiaoxingyi complain loudly on purpose, his voice dramatic. Wait just a minute. Are we seriously just walking away empty-handed like this? I can't swallow this kind of disrespect at all. How about we beat him up thoroughly first and then leave? If he cares so much about his precious rules, a good beating probably won't change his mind anyway. It might even loosen his tongue. You cracked a small, amused smile, your eyes twinkling. But I do have one slightly mischievous idea. This little thing here seems like it has had its hungry eyes locked onto that time-speed grinding flow treasure ever since the moment we first walked into the academy. If I quietly let it loose for just a few moments, he definitely won't be able to handle it on his own. And when that inevitable moment comes, he might just come crawling to us for help. If he still stubbornly refuses even then, well, rules are ultimately just dead, inflexible things. Living people really shouldn't be the same. They break easier. Lu Shiwei immediately snapped his sharp gaze toward the small but terrifying mass of dark energy you were subtly releasing, his face paling. His old face twitched violently with visible fear, sweat beading on his forehead. Because from that small, contained energy mass, he could clearly feel an overwhelming, ravenous, and ancient desire to devour and consume everything around it without mercy, the air growing colder. Xiao Xingyi then said loudly and theatrically on purpose, turning toward the door. All right then, let's just get out of here right now. What exactly are we still waiting around for? The night is young. Lu Shiwei panicked internally and quickly let out two obviously fake, awkward coughs, his voice cracking. Hold on just a moment, you two. I was just thinking carefully, some of these old academy rules might actually have a tiny bit of wiggle room after all. But first, both of you would need to do something fairly important for me in return. A favor for a favor. Yu and Xiao Xingyi exchanged a quick, knowing glance, the trap working perfectly. This stubborn old man had come around surprisingly fast once real pressure was applied. You casually put the dangerous energy mass away again, the room warming. All right then. Tell us exactly how we can work around these rigid rules of yours. Be specific. Lu Shiwei reached out his arm. In his wrinkled hand rested a rough, dark-colored piece of ancient, mysterious metal that pulsed faintly. The main reason I came back to the academy tonight was to retrieve this special item. I was planning to head personally into the dangerous Tianyu demon cave and bring this treasure roughly 30 li deep inside to have the rare hunting emerald vines temper and refine it properly. It's a delicate process. At that point, his gaze fixed directly and expectantly on you, hope in his eyes. Since you are finally back and stronger than ever, you take this treasure instead. Go as deep as you possibly can and stay inside for at least 1 full hour. Ideally, stay even longer until the intricate patterns on the surface of this metal turn completely golden. Do that, and I'll consider your requests. You agreed to the request immediately and without any hesitation. For someone at your current level of power, this task was basically child's play, almost relaxing. But just as you reached out calmly to take the ancient metal from his hand, Lu Shiwei suddenly pulled it back at the last second with a crafty look, his bargaining instincts kicking in. Hold on one more moment. The second condition you mentioned earlier about unlimited access to the time-speed grinding flow, there is still one small problem with it. Activating and maintaining the full connection to that treasure costs quite a significant amount of precious resources every single time. Surely you don't expect our humble Moliu Academy to cover all of those heavy costs by ourselves indefinitely? We have budgets. Xiao Xingyi was left completely speechless for a second, his mouth opening. Are you seriously trying to tell me that the Eternal Night Demon Emperor himself can't afford to pay for a few extra resources from your academy? That's bold. You laughed a little awkwardly at the bold bargaining, the old man's greed showing. Right now, I genuinely don't have enough liquid demon crystals on hand. I found out earlier that most of my old stored reserves somehow got burned up or lost during my long absence. Storage accidents happen. Then you grinned and looked expectantly at your old friend, your eyes twinkling. Old Xiao, after all these peaceful years, you've definitely managed to stack up quite a large personal fortune of demon crystals, right? Help a friend out. Xiao Xingyi immediately smacked himself hard in the mouth with regret, groaning. Fine. I'll cover it. But you owe me a drink later. An hour later, after you had successfully and effortlessly completed the tempering task that Lu Shiwei had entrusted to you deep inside the Tianyu demon cave, the metal now glowing golden and refined, you finally made it back to the peaceful courtyard, the night air cool. Xishuan, meow meow, Daddy is finally back home. How was your evening? Several people immediately came out to greet you warmly, the courtyard lanterns lighting their faces. Su Xishuan rushed over first with bright, expectant eyes, her new sword at her side. Daddy, how exactly did everything go at the academy? Did the principal agree? At this point, Su Shixuan already knew very well that the Moleyu Academy possessed the single most powerful and effective time acceleration artifact in the entire demon domain. She was secretly itching with excitement to break through to the Grand Emperor realm as quickly as possible, her training drive stronger than ever. You two girls are officially going to start training at the single best academy in the entire demon realm starting very soon. Everything is arranged. Then you walked over casually to Shui Tianfei with a slightly embarrassed expression, the moonlight softening her features. Hey, there is something practical I need to talk with you about. I'm running a little short on high-grade demon crystals right now and I need to borrow a decent amount from you. It's mainly to cover the resources the kids will need to make full use of the Moleyu Academy's time artifact without any restrictions. I'll pay you back. You knew very well that Shui Tianfei's powerful family ran one of the largest and most influential trade guilds across the entire demon domain, their wealth vast. Shui Tianfei's eyes lit up immediately with visible excitement and happiness, her smile warm. Whatever amount you need, I've got more than enough. Don't even think about paying me back. This is for the children. Then how about 100 million top-grade demon crystals to start? That should cover the initial costs. Shui Tianfei didn't even hesitate for half a second, her voice soft. Done. I'll have someone deliver the full amount right away. Consider it my gift to the family. What are you even talking about? Besides, this is ultimately for the children's future. This is honestly the very least I can do to help. Thank you. Then she walked over to Su Shixuan and Su Miao Miao with a warm, motherly smile, her presence comforting. Auntie Shui will personally drop both of you off at the academy every morning and pick you up safely every evening. How does that sound to you too? I can even bring snacks for the ride. Su Miao Miao's eyes went wide with pure delight, her little hands clapping. Yes, please. Auntie Shui, you absolutely can't take that promise back later. I want snacks too. You quickly tried to intervene gently, not wanting to impose. Meow meow, don't trouble Auntie Shui too much. You've still got Daddy right here, don't you? I can take you. Su Miao Miao grabbed Shui Tianfei's hand even tighter with both of hers, her voice determined. I want Auntie Shui to do it. When Auntie Shui is around, I always get to eat lots of yummy food and train happily at the same time. She makes it fun. Su Shixuan immediately reached over and playfully pinched her little sister's chubby cheeks, her voice teasing but affectionate. You little foodie. Can you please just focus seriously on training for once? Didn't you say you wanted to break through to the Grand Emperor realm as fast as possible? Food can wait. Su Miao Miao puffed out her cheeks adorably in protest, her eyes sparkling. But I already figured out that when I eat yummy food while training at the same time, my training speed actually becomes much faster than normal. Don't believe me? Just watch this carefully. I'll show you. She proudly pulled out a large slice of perfectly frozen watermelon and began demonstrating her unique eating while cultivating method right there in the courtyard, her small body glowing faintly with energy as she chewed and circulated her qi. Moments later, everyone present, including you, was struck completely speechless by the visible results, the air around her humming with faster cultivation. See? I told all of you I wasn't lying or making it up. It really works. You quickly stepped forward and patted your clever daughter gently on the head, your emperor sense confirming the phenomenon. Meow meow, try training again seriously while eating. I need to see and confirm this for myself one more time. This is interesting. Moments later, you opened your eyes again, genuinely dumbfounded by what your emperor sense had just observed in detail. You had personally confirmed it, when your youngest daughter was happily eating, her internal spiritual root was actually growing and strengthening at an accelerated rate, the food acting as a catalyst. Looking a little embarrassed by the unexpected discovery, you admitted with a small laugh. Well, in that case, meow meow, from now on you are officially allowed to eat and train at the same time whenever you want. It seems to work for you. Just don't overeat. Then you looked over at Shui Tianfei with a mix of gratitude and mild accusation, your voice teasing. You're the one who has been secretly sneaking her all these special snacks and frozen treats lately, aren't you? You're spoiling her. Su Miao Miao immediately jumped protectively in front of Shui Tianfei, her arms spread wide. Daddy, you absolutely can't blame Auntie Shui for anything. Without Auntie Shui's help, I would never have discovered this amazing way to train faster. She's the best. Shui Tianfei's eyes instantly filled with visible warmth and affection, her heart melting at the little girl's defense. Ugh, why isn't this adorable little foodie my own daughter? She's too cute. You rubbed the back of your head awkwardly, a rare soft smile on your face. I wasn't actually blaming you, Auntie Shui. I was honestly trying to thank you properly for helping her. You've been good to them. If you're really thanking me, then there should be some kind of nice reward for my efforts. A kind word or two would be nice. So you looked directly at Shui Tianfei, your voice sincere. All right. You did great today. The girls like you, and I appreciate it. Shui Tianfei looked like she had just tasted the sweetest honey in existence, her face glowing with quiet joy, her cheeks pink. Okay then, Miao Miao and Xishuan, come with Auntie Shui right now. I've already prepared several special things that both of you are definitely going to need once you start at the Millionfold Academy: uniforms, training aids, and some snacks for the first day. Then she led the two excited girls cheerfully into one of the side rooms, their laughter echoing. Xiao Xingyi shook his head slowly in genuine amazement, watching them go. Bro, is that really the same cold and proud Shui Tianfei we have both known for so many years? She is genuinely starting to give off real wife and caring mother energy now. It's like she was made for this. You glanced at Xiao Xingyi and chose to say nothing in response, your thoughts complicated. Because honestly, everything that had just happened had caught even you completely off guard and unprepared, the warmth in your chest unfamiliar but not unwelcome. Xiao Xingyi saw that you had no immediate comeback and burst out laughing warmly, patting your shoulder. Haha, that's our Shui Tianfei for you. I have nothing but respect for her persistence. She's winning you over slowly. Half an hour later, inside a quiet room shared by the two sisters, Su Xishuan was staring seriously at her little sister with gentle concern, the lantern light soft on their faces. It really seems like you have grown to like Auntie Shui a lot already. Is it honestly just because she keeps giving you all the good food you love? Or is there more? She knew her little sister had already started developing her own independent way of thinking and feeling, her innocence mixed with sharp intuition. Sis, I feel like Auntie Shui is actually a lot like Daddy deep down. She genuinely cares about me and spends real time with me. She might even treat me better and pay more attention to me than Mom ever did back then. Mom was always busy cultivating. At that honest admission, Su Miao Miao pressed her lips together tightly and looked down at the floor quietly, her small hands twisting in her lap. Back then, Mom basically did nothing except cultivate in closed rooms all day and night. She almost never spent any real, quality time playing or talking with us. It felt lonely sometimes. Su Xishuan went quiet for a long moment, thinking everything over carefully, her own memories surfacing. Then Su Miao Miao looked up again, her young eyes filled with quiet hurt and confusion, a tear threatening. Sis, I noticed that whenever I'm spending time with Auntie Shui, I don't miss Mom nearly as much as I used to. Is that bad? Su Xishuan saw that her little sister was about to start crying again. She pulled her into a tight, comforting hug, her voice soft. Then let's just focus on building a strong, happy relationship with Auntie Shui from now on and try not to think about Mom too often for a while. We have a new family here. It's okay to be happy. The two sisters talked softly for a while longer, their bond strengthening in the quiet night, the future feeling a little brighter. The very next clear morning, just as you were preparing to head out together with your daughters toward the Millionfold Academy for their official enrollment, you glanced casually over at Sun Mingzi, who was practicing basic forms nearby. You're coming along with us too, right? It'll be good for you. Sun Mingzi's eyes went wide with happy surprise, her sword pausing mid-swing. I'm really allowed to come? But I'll just tell the headmaster at Millionfold Academy that I'm enrolling my own daughters there. Just pretend for now that you are one of my daughters as well. That way, you can freely and safely use the powerful time-accelerating treasure on that side to cultivate without raising any unnecessary questions. Is that okay? Is this arrangement really okay for everyone? I'm basically nobody important. I've got almost nothing valuable to offer in return for all this kindness. Before Sun Mingzi could finish her worried sentence, you cut her off gently but firmly, your voice kind. It's already decided. You'll stay close to Shishuan and keep each other good company. You can look out for and support one another. You're part of this now. Sun Mingzi still couldn't quite believe her sudden good fortune. She never expected to receive such a generous opportunity so easily. She bowed deeply at a full 90-degree angle, her voice thick with gratitude. Thank you so much, Senior. I won't let you down. I'll train hard and help however I can. Right at that moment, Lu Yuni walked over from the side with a calm expression, her new formation books in hand. Brother-in-law, my master Luo Danhong and I have already finished building the stable teleportation array you requested. Should we activate and test it properly on both sides today? It's ready. Yes, go ahead and set it up fully. Make sure it's secure. Something practical clicked in your mind suddenly as you looked at her. Oh right, Uni, if you are personally willing, you can also pretend to be one of my daughters for the Academy records and join Moliu Academy alongside the girls. With that official identity, you would be able to use the powerful time treasure freely and break through to the Grand Emperor realm even faster than before. It's a good opportunity. Lu Yuni's face turned noticeably red with embarrassment, her hands fidgeting with her robes. That doesn't feel completely right though. I'm already at this age. Can I realistically pass as your daughter without anyone suspecting anything? It might look strange. At that, Xiao Xingyi laughed loudly and cheerfully from the side, his voice teasing. Your shamelessness level is finally starting to rival even mine after all these years. I can already perfectly picture that old principal's shocked face when he sees you walking in with this many surprised daughters all at once. It'll be legendary. You shot Xiao Xingyi a mildly warning look, though your lips twitched. I only ever said I was enrolling my own daughters. I never once specified exactly how many I actually have. Let him guess. He opened his mouth to argue back playfully, but it was already too late. You had casually dropped the line. Lu Yuni was still visibly hesitating with embarrassment, her cheeks pink. Xiao Xingyi quickly jumped in to persuade her with logic, his voice encouraging. Come on, my dear disciple. Just say yes already. A stable 1 to 300 time acceleration ratio, even your own master would secretly love to get unlimited access to something like that. It's too good to pass up. You smirked lightly, adding to the persuasion. If you honestly don't mind the temporary embarrassment, you could even pretend to be my daughter too for a while. It's just for the records. Forget it. Forget it completely. I'm not getting dragged into this ridiculous circus act. I'll think about it. A moment later, Lu Yuni finally gritted her teeth and made up her mind, her voice determined. Fine. I'll give it a serious try for the sake of faster cultivation. For the family. Not long after that light-hearted exchange, the entire lively group finally arrived together at the main gates of the prestigious Moliu Academy, the building's grand and ancient. Lu Shiwei, the principal, came out personally to greet the group with a polite but cautious smile, his robes impeccable. But the moment he saw the surprisingly large crowd of young women and girls trailing confidently behind you, he immediately frowned with visible confusion, his eyes widening slightly. These young ladies are all. You pointed casually back at everyone present except Xue Tianfei, your voice steady. They are all my daughters. According to the agreement we reached last night, please have someone register all of them properly and get them officially enrolled as soon as possible. They're ready to start. Lu Shiwei's jaw dropped literally almost to the floor in pure shock, his composure cracking. You clapped him lightly but firmly on the shoulder, your smile calm. Don't look so completely shocked, Principal Lu. These really are all my daughters. The demon domain is full of surprises. Lu Shiwei stood frozen in complete silence for a solid 2.5 minutes, his mind clearly struggling to process the situation, his mouth opening and closing. You are putting me in an incredibly difficult and awkward position here. Last night I was under the clear impression that you only had one single daughter. This is a lot. You gave him a steady, slightly challenging look, your presence reminding him who he was dealing with. What? Are you already thinking about going back on the clear agreement we made? That would be disappointing. Lu Shiwei's mouth twitched uncomfortably, sweat beading on his forehead. Not only was he clearly in the wrong, but he also couldn't afford to openly offend Xiaoxingyi, who was standing right there with a dangerous smile, or you. Xiaoxingyi immediately understood exactly what the old principal was secretly worried about, his precious reputation and the academy's strict rules. Old Lu, I know you're deathly afraid of damaging your spotless reputation, but I happen to have a very neat solution that works out perfectly and safely for absolutely everyone involved. Would you like to hear it? It's simple. Lu Shiwei perked up immediately with visible hope, his eyes brightening. The response came almost instantly, his voice eager. Rather make things difficult for others than suffer any loss myself. Tell me the solution. The second he heard that clever, self-serving proverb, something seemed to click open inside Lu Shiwei's head. He did a complete, dramatic 180-degree turn in attitude, his shoulders relaxing. This is really nothing serious at all. Go find Vice Headmaster Lu Qingshu immediately. He will take care of every single detail for all of you personally. He's good at these things. The second your group had walked far enough away, Lu Shiwei immediately sent a private transmission to Lu Qingshu, happily passing off the troublesome and potentially reputation-damaging mission to his subordinate, a small smile on his face. His old face flushed slightly red with a strange mix of embarrassment and unexpected satisfaction. I never thought I would actually be pulling something sneaky and rule-bending like this in my long career. But honestly, that felt surprisingly good. Rules are made to be bent sometimes. On the other side of the academy grounds, Lu Qingshu received the sudden order with a face that looked like an incoming thunderstorm, his brows furrowed. But the very second he personally saw you walking toward him with the large, impressive group, his entire expression instantly lit up with professional enthusiasm, the storm vanishing. You're finally here, sir. The headmaster has already given me full instructions. Actually, handling this entire situation was entirely my own clever idea from the beginning. I'll get every single detail sorted out perfectly for all of you right away. Follow me. One full incense stick of time later, Lu Qingshu cheerfully handed you 4 brand new, high-quality identity tokens, each glowing faintly with academy runes. These aren't just ordinary official identity markers for your daughters. They also have quite a few hidden premium features and privileges built directly into them. Although, of course, most of those extra features will require you to top up the tokens regularly with sufficient demon essence before they can be used. It's a small cost for big benefits. So if I want the kids to have completely unrestricted access to the time treasure anytime they wish, how exactly does that process work? Explain clearly. I have already personally upgraded all 4 tokens to the highest level possible. They can now enter the special training space anytime and from anywhere. But if they want to remain inside the time treasure for indefinite periods without any restrictions, that will still require feeding it a significant ongoing amount of high-grade demon willow essence. It's the fuel. Right at that moment, Shui Tianfei stepped forward confidently, her voice calm. Tell me honestly, exactly how many top-grade demon crystals would it take for the children to be able to stay inside the time treasure for as long as they want without any limitations? Name the price. Lu Qingshu held up one finger dramatically, his voice professional. 100 million top-grade demon crystals for each person. It's not cheap, but it's worth it. Sun Mingzi nearly fainted on the spot from the sheer size of the number alone, her face paling. 100 million top-grade demon crystals. That is easily the entire net worth of most peak-grade emperor experts. How can anyone afford that? But then, in the very next second, she watched in stunned silence as Shui Tianfei casually tossed an entire storage ring filled with crystals toward Lu Qingshu without even blinking, her expression casual. "There is a full billion inside that ring. I don't want to cause any unnecessary difficulties or shortages for your academy. Whatever amount is left over after topping up the tokens, please consider it a generous donation toward building a few more training classrooms or facilities. Use it well." Su Shixuan and Su Miao Miao both blinked at the exact same time in amazement, their mouths open. "Auntie Shui, you are seriously loaded with wealth. That's a billion." You quickly sent a private voice transmission to Xiaoxingyi, your tone surprised. Has Shui Tianfei's family business really grown this massively successful? I clearly remember she wasn't nearly this wealthy or influential before I left. She just casually threw out an entire billion without even thinking twice about it. When did this happen? Xiaoxingyi replied helplessly through the transmission, his mental voice amused. Back then she had almost all of her focus and energy completely locked onto chasing after you for years. She couldn't be bothered managing or expanding her family's forces properly. But during the full 1,000 years you were gone, she barely put in any real effort at all and still managed to shoot straight up to the top 10 positions on the official Demon Overlord Strength and Influence rankings. Love makes people powerful, I guess. Right at that moment, Lu Qingshu finally managed to snap himself out of his complete shock, his hands trembling slightly as he held the ring. Dang. I honestly thought I was getting stuck with a troublesome baggage case today. Turns out this particular baggage is incredibly valuable and generous. The Academy thanks you. Alright, I'll go max out the Demon Willow Essence on all 4 of these lovely young ladies' tokens immediately. It'll be done in minutes. He bounced off excitedly to handle the important task, his steps lighter. You looked at Shui Tianfei with genuine, heartfelt gratitude, your voice soft. You really didn't have to donate or spend that much for us. It's too generous. Shui Tianfei's face broke into a warm, gentle, and slightly shy smile, her eyes meeting yours. This is honestly nothing at all to me. If you ever need even more demon crystals for anything important down the road, just say the word. Whatever amount you need, I can make it happen without any trouble. For the children, and for you. Your feelings toward her in that moment were genuinely complicated and shifting, a warmth you hadn't expected. It was starting to look like you might have been too cold and hard on Shui Tianfei for far too long. She had changed, or perhaps you were finally seeing her clearly. Just then, Xiaoxingyi's familiar voice came through in another private transmission, his tone teasing. See? My eye for judging people has never been wrong even once. Shui Tianfei is actually a very solid, reliable, and generous person deep down. Give her a chance. This time, you didn't bother arguing back at all, the silence speaking volumes. Xiaoxingyi seemed to sense clearly that you were slowly but surely beginning to warm up to her again after so many years, a small smile on his face. A moment later, Lu Qingshu rushed back over with obvious pride, the tokens glowing in his hands. I have already topped up all the necessary demon crystals onto every single one of your daughter's tokens. From now on, they simply need to step inside the Sure Shiamou training space and focus their intent clearly on the token, and they will be able to access the time treasure freely. It's done. You nodded, feeling very satisfied with the smooth arrangements, the future looking brighter. He then turned cheerfully towards Su Shixuan and the rest of the girls, lowering his voice to a helpful whisper. From now on, if any of you ever run into any kind of problem or trouble you can't handle here at the academy, just come find me directly. I'll take care of it quietly. No one will bother you. Half an hour later, you personally brought all 4 girls into the special Shirshiamou cultivation space located deep inside the academy grounds, the air thick with dense spiritual energy. You looked at the ancient, mysterious cultivation tower radiating powerful, dense energy in front of you and felt deeply satisfied, the structure towering and ancient. Go inside and get a real feel for how it works first. Make sure to go all the way up to the very top floor. The cultivation speed and energy density are the strongest and fastest up there. Train hard but don't push too far on the first day. All four girls nodded seriously, eyes filled with determination and excitement, their new tokens glowing. The next second, all four of them vanished instantly into the tower, the doors closing behind them with a soft hum. One full incense stick of time later, all four reappeared together in front of you, looking refreshed and excited, sweat on their brows but smiles on their faces. How did it feel training inside for the first time? Tell me honestly. Su Shixuan and the other two older girls smiled brightly with satisfaction, their auras slightly stronger. It felt absolutely amazing and effective. The energy is so dense and pure. I broke through a small bottleneck already. But then little Su Meow Meow pouted cutely with a small complaint, her cheeks puffed. Daddy, Meow Meow was all alone inside that huge, empty space. It felt kind of lonely and scary after a while. Can I bring a snack next time? You ruffled your little girl's head softly and reassuringly, your voice gentle. That's perfectly okay. We'll wait patiently until Meow Meow is a little bit older and braver before she starts coming back here regularly to cultivate seriously. No rush. Su Meow Meow lit up happily again, hugging your leg. Then you turned to Su Shixuan and the other two with practical advice, your tone fatherly. Alright, this special space is where all three of you will come to train seriously from now on. But please don't rely too heavily or lazily on the time treasure alone. The best balanced plan is this: attend normal classes at the academy every morning to learn theory and make friends, come here to cultivate intensively every afternoon, and then teleport safely back home every evening to eat dinner and rest properly with the family. Balance is key. All three nodded with serious, determined expressions, their eyes shining with motivation. Then, unable to wait any longer, they immediately dove back eagerly into the cultivation tower once again, their laughter echoing as they disappeared. That same evening, after the three older girls had finally teleported back home to the courtyard, they could no longer hold back their overflowing excitement and happiness, gathering in the main hall. Auntie Mingzi, I managed to break through 3 whole minor levels today. That was completely insane and amazing. The time treasure is incredible. Lu Yuni took a deep, satisfied breath, her formation knowledge expanding. I not only broke through 1 full minor cultivation level, but I also finally managed to crack and understand a difficult formation technique that had been stuck in my mind for years. It clicked so easily inside. I broke through 3 levels too. It felt so good. My body feels lighter. But right as the 3 of them were happily riding that wave of success and excitement, Lu Yuni suddenly noticed that her little brother had sent her another urgent transmission message, the jade slip buzzing. Inside a quiet dwelling back in the immortal domain, Lu Zhenran was asking impatiently, his voice eager. Uncle, hasn't she picked up the call yet? I want to tell sis my news. He was already itching with excitement to brag proudly to his older sister. She is probably just busy training or cultivating something important. What exactly is it that you want to tell your sister so badly anyway? Make it quick. Lu Zhenran grinned from ear to ear with pride, his chest puffed. Uncle, today I finally made it and successfully. I got accepted into the absolute top academy in the entire immortal domain, the prestigious Qingshan Academy. And on top of that incredible news, I was allowed to train inside their special 1:30 time ratio cultivation space for just 2 short hours, and I immediately broke through an entire minor level. It felt absolutely unreal. Mom's connections worked. Lu Xianyu instantly saw right through his nephew's obvious plan to brag, a small smile on his face. Then he let out a long, exasperated but fond laugh. Your mother really does have impressive pull and connections. She actually managed to get you accepted into Qingshan Academy so easily. Good for you. Then something else suddenly occurred to him, his eyes lighting up. Oh right, do you happen to know any of the teachers at your new academy who goes by the name Nangong? Tell me about her. Of course I know her. She is literally the most popular and admired teacher in the entire Qingshan Academy. Everyone loves her classes. Lu Xianyu looked dramatically up at the ceiling with longing, his voice dreamy. That woman is my ultimate dream girl. Someone please save me from my hopeless feelings. She's perfect. Then he sighed heavily with self-pity, his shoulders slumping. But honestly, I should probably just forget about it completely. I most likely have zero real chance with someone like her. Her background is too high. Lu Zhenran quickly jumped in encouragingly, his voice bright. Uncle, teacher Nan Gongyun doesn't seem to be romantically involved with anyone yet. You still have a real chance if you try. Don't give up. Lu Xianyu let out another deep, solemn sigh, his voice dramatic. Kid, you are still very young. There are many complicated things in this world that you just don't fully understand yet. Nan Gongyun comes from the powerful and influential Nangong clan, one of the absolute top noble families in the entire immortal domain. And me? When you compare my relatively ordinary background to hers, I am nowhere near her level. We basically have no realistic shot together. It's hopeless. Saying those words out loud almost made him want to slap himself in regret, memories of his past behavior toward his brother-in-law flashing. If only he had been smarter and kinder much earlier, he might have actually gotten genuinely close to that perfect brother-in-law. In that case, Nan Gongyun wouldn't even be considered anywhere near his league anymore. The missed opportunity stung. But right at that moment of self-reflection, Lu Xianyu's eyes suddenly lit up with hope. The transmission connection had finally gone through successfully, the jade lighting up. Second sis, what exactly is going on over there with you these days? Tell me everything. Lu Yuni answered in a deliberately flat, neutral tone, though her voice carried warmth. What exactly is going on with me? If you have something specific you want to say, then just say it plainly. I'm busy training. Lu Xianyu's face scrunched up with mild frustration, his voice pleading. Sis, can you please be just a little bit gentler and warmer with your poor little brother? And also, it is actually Zhenran who has something exciting he wants to tell you personally. He's been waiting. Lu Zhenran eagerly leaned closer to the jade slip, his voice excited. Auntie, is my older sister finally there? I have big news. Then both of them clearly heard another familiar voice cutting smoothly into the conversation, calm and teasing. What exactly do you want? Make it quick and direct. I don't have all day. The second Lu Zhenran heard his older sister's voice, he lit up with pure excitement and pride. Sis, listen to this amazing news. Today I successfully joined the top Qingshan Academy and I was allowed to train inside their special 1:30 time ratio treasure for just one afternoon. After only 2 hours I immediately broke through a whole minor level. It was unreal. Su Shixuan's mouth curled into a small, slightly mocking smile, her voice teasing. Oh wow, look at you making progress. How impressive. Good for you. Getting even that small bit of praise from his usually strict older sister made Lu Zhenran feel absolutely amazing inside, his chest swelling. All of it is honestly thanks to Mom's connections and influence, of course. She put in a good word. Su Shixuan snapped back immediately with irritation, her eyes narrowing. Lu Zhenran, it really sounds like you don't want me as your sister anymore. You just had to bring her up again right in front of me, didn't you? Always mom this, mom that. Lu Zhenran fired right back without backing down, his voice confident. Sis, even if you decide to completely disown me as your brother today, I am still going to say it honestly. If you keep staying stubbornly in the demon domain without Mom's vast resources and guidance backing you up, the gap between all of us is only going to keep getting bigger and bigger. If you don't believe me at all, in just 2 short months I'll personally come to the demon domain and prove it to you face to face. You'll see. Su Shixuan was about to clap back with a sharp reply, but when she heard that her little brother was actually planning to visit in person soon, her mouth curved upward without her meaning to, a small smile breaking through. Come whenever you feel ready. You are always welcome here with us. Just hope you don't show up too late. By then, even little Meow Meow might already be far ahead of you in cultivation. We're training hard here. The transmission cut off abruptly right after those words, leaving Lu Zhenran staring at the jade slip in determination. Lu Zhenran was now completely fired up and motivated. He wanted to leave for the demon domain immediately if possible, his mind racing with plans. Meanwhile, inside a grand, luxurious hall deep in the immortal domain, the atmosphere was heavy with ambition and calculation. Ruyan, Jinran successfully got into Qingshan Academy today. He must be feeling thrilled beyond words. This is a big step for him. Su Ruyan clasped her hands together in quiet gratitude, though her mind was elsewhere. This is all thanks to Master for putting in a good word and recommendation on his behalf. I owe you. I only passed along the message. The real reason they agreed so quickly was because they clearly saw his outstanding talent for themselves. His future potential is genuinely terrifying. He is almost certainly bound to reach the very pinnacle of the immortal domain someday. But unfortunately, a new and delicate problem has suddenly come up that we need to address. Master, please speak openly. What is it? The corner of Lin Qingshua's mouth lifted in the faintest, almost imperceptible cold smile, her eyes calculating. The problem is precisely that his talent is almost too terrifying and outstanding. If he is left to keep growing completely unchecked and freely, he could very well become a serious future threat to the current balance of power and standing of several important families in the immortal domain. So a few of those influential families now want to get ahead of any potential problems by establishing strong, early ties with him while he is still young and impressionable. Su Ruyan went noticeably pale with worry, her hands tightening. Master, didn't you repeatedly tell me before that someone in my current special position should stay completely away from any new romantic entanglements or distractions? That it would weaken my path? Lin Qingxue quickly cut her off smoothly, her voice persuasive. Ruyan, let me finish explaining everything first. I already brought this sensitive matter up carefully with those powerful families. At first they were very stubborn and wouldn't budge at all. But after some very persuasive convincing on my part, they finally agreed to a reasonable compromise. And this new arrangement actually plays perfectly into our own long-term plans down the road. It's an opportunity. Su Ruyan took a slow, steadying breath, her mind racing. What exactly do they want from me in return? Be direct. They want you to personally select and accept 2 promising young talents from each of their respective clans to become your direct, personal disciples. That way, their families would gain a meaningful, lasting connection to you and your rising influence, and they would naturally stop worrying so much about future threats from your son. It's a win for everyone. Su Ruyan paused thoughtfully for a long moment, weighing the costs, then finally nodded with reluctant acceptance. All right. I will follow Master's guidance on this matter. But only if it doesn't interfere with my own cultivation. Good. I will go and finalize all the necessary arrangements right away. You won't regret this. Lin Qingxue turned around gracefully, and once her back was fully to Su Ruyan, a cold, calculating, and triumphant smile crossed her face, her eyes gleaming. Lu Ruyan, there is truly no escaping my grip or influence anymore. Your mind to shape. After 2 warm, peaceful, and relatively uneventful days spent adjusting to life in the demon domain, filled with training, good food, and family moments, Shui Tianfei finally came to find you privately one quiet afternoon in the garden, her white robes pristine. These next couple of days, I unfortunately need to head back to my family clan to handle several important and time-sensitive matters. There are guild issues that require my attention. I'm not exactly sure how long it will take to finish everything properly, but I'll try to be quick. You felt a small, unexpected pang of reluctance in your chest, the garden seeming quieter already. Before these recent events, you would have felt genuinely glad and relieved to see her leave for a while. Now, the feeling was different. Okay, but make sure you wrap up all your clan business as quickly and efficiently as possible and then come back here soon. The girls will miss you. Shui Tianfei's cheeks flushed with a faint, delicate pink, her eyes softening with happiness. She felt deeply that all of her persistent, patient efforts over the long years had finally started to earn at least a small bit of genuine approval and warmth from you. It made her heart lighter. Oh, before you leave for your clan, please make sure to say a proper goodbye to little Meow Meow. That sweet kid these days, the very first thing she does every single time she gets home from training is look excitedly for you, not for me. She asks about Auntie Shue's snacks constantly.